See, we did just fine. Everything worked out perfectly. It is the last show before Christmas. Looking forward to that. I always love Christmas anyway. I don't know if that's like a honky Catholic deal or whatever, but I don't really give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love it. I love Christmas. It's a wonderful time of the year. Yeah, things looking pretty. There's nothing in the news this morning. Did you guys find anything to read about in the news this morning?
Yeah, there's some good stuff in Tom's news story.
As
Good
the kids
stuff.
say, we went ham.
We did.
You went ham.
Ham.
We found a bunch.
Hard as a mother.
Oh, God. Get off the air. Just for that, you're suspended.
All right, I'll see you guys in the new
Get
year.
out. See you later. Take it easy. Nice talking to you. Okay, I'm clicking on it right now. Oh, yeah, you guys loaded a ton of stuff up here. No doubt. No, I just went for a walk. I was not going to go for a walk and went, no, what the hell? I got a half an hour. I'll get it in. I'll get back about 5 minutes too. It all worked out beautifully.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand this. Grandparents mistakenly buy $10,000 worth of Disney Plus gift cards instead of Disney Park. How do you make that mistake?
So I guess it was at Costco, and it is pretty confusing if you don't know what the word little plus near it. So you get it's a discounted if you buy it through Costco. You buy the gift cards and you can buy. I didn't even know you could buy Disney Park.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, and this poor grandparents went there, and yeah, it was rough.
Normal, Illinois, an Illinois family's Christmas vacation to Disney was nearly ruined after the grandparents mistakenly bought $10,000 worth of Disney Plus streaming services gift cards instead of Disney Parks gift cards. In a series of TikTok videos, Andy Kristyn explains that her parents were planning a big family trip for all 16 family members to save some money. Kristyn's parents decided to buy $10,000 worth of Disney gift cards from Sam's Club and pay for the trip with those. Gift cards at Sam's Club are often discounted up to 25%, meaning for every $100 gift card you buy, it would only cost you $75. So I understand what their thinking was.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, they brought the logo up here, and I looked at the logo. You couldn't tell that's not for the park.
I know.
I don't know. There's a lot of things going wrong with this. I mean, we're going to Disney in April this year, so we go every year. I'll tell you, it's getting a little spendy. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Kristyn's parents made a major mistake. They accidentally purchased gift cards for Disney Plus streaming services. So that this is all for the online. I mean, on the streaming Disney Plus site.
Yeah. So it's there's a little plus at the end of Disney that means that it is for the streaming service, and I would say they did a pretty good job. With brand being able to recognize it if you're used to that. But if you're just going to go buy a bunch, I totally understand how they would screw this up.
Right. But how much is Disney Plus to watch per month? What is that, like $10 or something?
Yeah, it's very cheap. I think they did the math and they bought 70 years worth.
Yeah, 70 years worth. That's what I was thinking. It's like that's their whole lifetime they just bought of watching Disney Plus. Well, not them because they're old.
I was going to say not theirs, but
and if you're going through a checkout, you would think the cashier would make some sort of remark saying like, "Oh, you really love Disney Plus, don't you?" Because that's a lot of Disney Plus cards.
But even if they said that, like, you love Disney Plus, they would say, "Yeah." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I suppose,
yeah, we love Disney Plus, like Epcot and all that stuff. Like everything's great.
But I mean, still, $10,000 worth of gift cards going to last you for 70 years. Somebody behind that counter had to know this is not right. There's something wrong here.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're not going to buy $10,000 worth of gifting. How many people do you know in your life? You know 10,000 people you want to give a free gift card to? Good for you. Because I don't know 10,000 people. No, I blame this flat out on the store he bought them from, or they bought them from. Because it's $10,000. Does it say how old the grandparents were anywhere in the?
I'm not sure.
It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. But let's say they're only 60 years old, right? So they got more Disney streaming service by about 60. Well, we'll say 50 years.
Yeah.
They bought 50 years extra streaming service, and nobody noticed that. How many people do you know that you're going to give out Disney gift cards to? You couldn't even argue that point. It's like, oh, they must be giving away for Christmas. Not $10,000 worth.
But also, have you ever been to Sam's or Costco? they get you through that line. I
Yeah, they
mean,
do. Yep.
because you've got an insane amount of stuff. So
Yeah, I know. Maybe what should have happened was they bought it for their kids and their grandchildren, correct?
mhm.
What we used to do, what we do as a family is we sit down and we kind of put our heads together and go, hey, what's the best route to take here? So we would have had 2 generations, sometimes 3 generations of people going, hey, this is the way we ought to do it.
Mm.
Instead of just going out and buy. And look, I'm not blaming it on these people. I assume that Disney will buy back the $10,000 worth. I would imagine.
They were able, after the video kind of went viral, they were able to get it switched.
I'm glad to hear that. So that's a good thing because Disney needs a little positive news because right now people are just not wild about Disney. I'll tell you that. I still am. I love going to Disney, but some of the stuff they're doing is like, what? Settle down, for Christ's sake.
I also love that they're bringing so many of their grandkids to Disney. Like, that's so cool. I just,
Yep.
and they're
We
78.
do it every year. What?
Yeah.
They're 78?
Yeah, and they have 16 family members. Can you imagine
Yep.
you and your cousins all going to Disney? That would be insanely fun. I've never been. So the idea of like me and a bunch of my cousins and my grandparents going to Disney World would be so bomb.
No, what's a cousin?
I don't know.
I barely know my cousins. I did when I was a kid. I knew all my cousins, but everybody moved to different states, and I haven't seen them in some. I have a couple of cousins I haven't seen in 50 years.
I have so many cousins because my mom comes
Oh, do
from
you?
10 and my dad
Oh.
comes from 5 or 6. But either way, literally, there's cousins everywhere. I have cousins in every city, every state.
Well, you have to remember one other thing. 3 of my uncles were murdered, so they didn't have any kids.
Yeah,
So
that will
helps.
usually cut down the family tree a little bit if murder goes down.
Yeah, if you got murder involved, then you don't have as many kids running around. There's no question about that. But yeah, I just I don't know. I think this could have been handled better by Disney. I really do. Thinking, well, wait a minute. You bought $10,000. Could I ask you about that? Did they have to go? I mean, you don't just buy it from a kiosk, from a site. You have to buy it from the store, correct? You check it out.
Yeah, usually at Costco and Sam's Clubs, they have this like wall of gift cards that all are a little discounted. Like they said, 75 for $100, 25% off.
Well, it sounds like it all worked out in the end, so that's good. And when are they going? Does it say in the article anywhere when they're going?
No, but that's what I really like thinking about is just their whole family going to Disney World.
Right.
Yep.
Right, Brittany, because like you're saying, Brittany, like for the kids, like how cool is that? Like I remember being a little kid, like my grandparents would do, they called it cousin camp, and it was like one time every summer that everybody came over. They lived out in like the woods. We would have like all the cousins out there. So yeah,
That sounds
like
awesome.
magnify that times 10. We're all going to freaking Disney World. Yeah,
I don't even know. I wouldn't sleep for like a week, leading up to it.
I mean, that all worked out because when I was working at WAPE in Jacksonville, my whole family came down, the kids, the grandkids, all that stuff. I didn't have any great grandkids. I mean, their grandkids, not my grandkids, because I didn't have any. I wasn't even married then yet. But they all came down. So it was 3 generations of people that came down. My mother, my family, and then my brother and sister's children and all that. Yeah, to wander around Disney with about 15, 20 of your family members is a very cool deal, except for my brother Tony, who can get a little wound up.
Yeah.
They put us up because they comped the whole thing because I worked at WAPE, which was tied in with Disney, so the whole thing was free.
Damn.
But I didn't tell anybody that though, so I could look like a big shot. It's like, look at all the money I'm spending on you stiffs. You don't tell them.
That's
Hell
a big brain
yeah.
play, though.
What's that?
That's a big brain play.
Yeah, you got to do it. I mean,
That's the way to go.
But my brother Tony, and I love my brother Tony, there's no question about it. He did not sleep the entire trip because he said they put us in a townhouse. It was like a 3-story townhouse in Disney World. He would not sleep because he said, if I fall asleep, I might miss something. It's like, no, go to sleep. We'll get everything in. But he thought if he fell asleep, he would miss something about this magnificent trip, which I took as a hell of a compliment.
Yeah, that's how my game plan is when I go to Disney World. Is I'm just gonna get on meth. And
You're just
lean into
strung
it.
out by the end of the trip, wandering around Disney World like a zombie. Yeah.
I don't want to miss one moment.
It's great. It is a wonderful trip, no question about it. Phil Mackey now joins us, ladies and gentlemen. I love one thing about sports reporting. They had to put in the words LeBronless Lakers.
Yeah.
They had to put that in there, didn't they?
Yeah. And so he didn't play last night. The Wolves did beat the LeBronless Lakers, and the Wolves, with the win over the LeBronless Lakers, are now tied for the best record in the NBA again. But it kind of sucks, if you're a fan and you bought a ticket. Maybe it's your only Wolves game that you're going to go to here. You got family in for the holidays. Let's take the kids to see LeBron, and he's in street clothes because, in fairness, he's been carrying the league like 40 minutes a night for 20 years. So
Right.
he's owed a couple off nights here and there. But yeah, a little bit of a downer last night to not be able to play the. I guess it would be the LeBron full Lakers if he had suited up. The LeBron full Lakers.
How old is LeBron now?
38, or he might have turned 39 actually.
Is he getting toward the end in his own mind? I mean, he's got enough talent. He could play for another 10 years if he wanted to, I suppose.
It's insane. So they keep showing all these numbers of players in their 20th year or their whatever. I think it's his 20th year, 21st year. And like Kevin Garnett in his 20th year was averaging 4 points a game because he's old, and then they'll show these other players. He's still averaging, LeBron, pretty much the same numbers that he's always averaged, like 26 points, 9 rebounds, whatever it is, 6 assists. And so he's kind of always said he structured his contract so that his contract can expire when his son, who plays at USC, he's a freshman at USC, his son's probably going to be an NBA player, and LeBron wants to play the last year of his NBA career with his son. So if that happens, I don't know, his son also had cardiac arrest or something a few months ago, and now he's back. So we don't know what his status is going to be, but some team is going to basically get, if you draft Bronny James in a year or 2 years, you're just going to get like LeBron James for free because he's going to want to sign. He'll sign for $1 million or whatever it is. So maybe that's the Wolves. Maybe they can draft Bronny, and then LeBron can come off the bench. I don't know if he's good enough to start for this Wolves team, quite frankly, best team in the NBA. But you can probably find room off the bench for LeBron.
All right, we'll squeeze him in. Maybe fit him in like the Iowa G League team or something until we can free him
LeBron and Luka Garza in the G League. That's the other thing, Tom. Not only are the Timberwolves the best team in the NBA right now today, they also have the best G League player, like the minor leagues of the NBA. Luka Garza just won G League Player of the Week.
That's great news.
So they're dominating the NBA. They're dominating the minor leagues. I don't know what more you could ask at this point.
Who has it better than us?
Yep.
No question about it. I just is Bronny any good?
I mean, yeah, he's. We're going to find out here. In the next, I think he played in his first game like a week ago at USC, only for a few minutes because they're working him back from the heart condition. But
so
he's not going to be like the top draft pick or anything. But he supposedly is going to be an NBA prospect. Yeah.
I wonder what that feels like to have a dad that actually works so you could follow him into his. What's that like? How's that feel?
My dad spent 30 years hard working for the county, Hennepin County, grinding. That's where I learned to hone my craft.
My favorite story about LeBron or Bronny James is because obviously his full name is LeBron James Jr. And so during AAU basketball, they asked him why he didn't wear number 6 like his dad, and he was like, "Well, I don't want everybody to know that I'm LeBron James' son." And so they were like, I'm sure that everybody on the sidelines, when they go, now starting for this AAU team, number 12, LeBron James Jr., everybody's like, wait, who is that?
And his dad is just sitting courtside,
high five.
Is that LeBron's son? I can't tell.
Yeah, that all gets a little weird. Oh, I don't want anybody to know. Yeah, nobody knows it's you. I'm sure that's absolutely correct. No doubt about it. But no, good news for the Timberwolves. They're doing very, very well. I hope that Bronny James does, maybe even half to 3/4 what his dad could do, because that would be spectacular anyway. So you hope for the best for everybody, right?
It's so tough. And then I don't know if you guys, Tom, do you follow golf much, like the PGA Tour?
Not like I used to. I used to follow it every week, and I haven't watched it now in several years. Ever since this whole other league started up, and this guy went there, and it's like, ugh, God, ugh.
Yeah, it's, and now they're that's a whole thing. But so you got Bronny James trying to live up to half of his dad's shadow, and now so there was a tournament last weekend, and they do this annual tournament where it's, you know, a PGA pro, or like Annika Sorenstam still plays in it, and then a family member of the pro, and they play team golf.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie Woods is now 14 years old, Tiger Woods' son.
Yeah.
And he drives the ball just like his dad did. Literally, there was a par 4, 325-yard par 4. 14-year-old Charlie Woods drove it over the green in this tournament. Yeah. And so he's going to, I can't imagine how that kid's life has potential to train wreck, trying to live up to the to the legend of his father. But
stay with the Perkins waitresses and you should be fine.
Yeah, I think it was a Denny's, wasn't it? Or was it an Ember's waitress? I can't remember.
Probably both. Let's be honest.
Slam either way.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Exactly. No question about it. But look, I love watching golf, but to be honest with you, and there got to be others, but I just can't think of them. I love Tim Herron. I just love that guy. His whole family. I know his whole family. They're great people. Most professional golfers are the biggest arrogant pieces of shit I've ever met in my life.
Do you have a ranking of the most arrogant pieces of shit golfers?
Yes.
Who are the top 5? Let's get you in trouble right now.
Yeah, how am I going to get in trouble? What are they going to do to me? Hit me with a golf club? Now, there have to be others. I'm just not thinking of that were really good people, but most of them are incredibly arrogant people. But do you have to be? Although Tim Herron was never arrogant. So you have to be arrogant to reach the very, very heights of it all?
I mean, if I could take a 7-iron from like 190 yards and hit a ball 5 feet from the target, I'd probably be a dick to people too.
Yes.
Here, take my keys, park my Hyundai.
I'm trying to think of other. Well, first of all, one thing I did notice about, and I'm not trying to say this as a slam or anything. Most golfers are not very smart. That's why they're so good at golf.
Because all you did was go. You're not paying attention in school. You're at the driving range, right?
But the fact that you're not overthinking things makes you a much better golfer. That's a fact, by the way.
That's why I'm a bad golfer, because I'm brilliant.
You think too much.
Yep.
Yeah, you're a brilliant man. So you and I have that in common.
Totally.
Well, both things. Not that great at golf because we're just so brilliant.
You can't turn off the brilliant mind when you're standing over a key putt. It's tough.
No, it's pretty. I mean, but and I don't mean that as a slam. Most really good golfers are not that bright, and actually that helps them in golf.
Yeah, it is funny. Like you see some of them interviewed. Dustin Johnson's a great example.
Oh God,
he's married to Wayne Gretzky's daughter Paulina, and I mean, you can literally like feel the breeze going through one ear and out the other when he's doing an interview. But the guy hits the ball 380 yards off the tee, and he's 175 yards out, take a lob wedge and throw it in there 12 feet from the pin.
He always reminds me of Will Ferrell's character from Talladega Nights, like the combo of him and his wife just being like raising winners. Like it just feels so ridiculous.
Well, I didn't think about this, but it's
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You guys go ahead.
There was a quote. He showed up for a tournament one day and he's like, I'm really aching it. And somebody's like, oh, did you tweak something in like you tweaked your back doing a workout? He goes, no, Paulina showed me something and
gave him a workout.
Yeah, gave me a workout. It was a Paulina workout. And everybody's like, buddy, this is a PGA event. Like this is not the time for that.
Yeah.
Phil. Yeah. So what else happened in sports, Pally?
Well, we got the Vikings this weekend playing their first of 2 games against the Lions down the stretch here. So any number of things can happen for the Vikings in the last 3 games. They could either win out and maybe win the division still. If they win their last 3 games, including 2 over the Lions, and the Lions then lose to the Cowboys next week, and the Vikings can still win the division. The Vikings could also very realistically lose their last 3 games, 2 to the Lions, 1 to the Packers, and draft 10th overall. So very wide range of outcomes here starting this Sunday. Buckle up. That's all I have to say.
No matter which way it goes, it's in a way good news, right?
Yes. Because if you draft 10th, you have a better shot at a good quarterback, drafting your quarterback of the future. And obviously, if you win the division, you get to hang another division banner inside US Bank Stadium and celebrate another 9 or 10 win season, I guess.
Works for me. That's a good thing. So nice to hear that our basketball team's doing well. Best team in all of professional basketball. I'm terrified of the Twins not having anybody coming to the team. They're going to be horrendous next year if they don't make a move or two.
It is kind of funny. The Dodgers have spent $1 billion on free agents so far in the last 7 weeks. The Twins have spent nothing on free agents.
And that's such a Minnesota thing to do, isn't it? That's a very Minnesota thing to do. Yeah. Well, since we're not going to rise all the way, we'll just not spend anything then. It's like, no, you got to get better every year, don't you?
Yeah, and it's like the local TV thing, and I get it. Like, so they lost out. Their local TV deal was bringing in like $55 million a year, and that TV deal is up, and they don't know where that money's coming from. So I get that there's okay. Well, we got to maybe scale back in a couple ways, but at the same time, would it hurt you to just tighten the belt, swallow it, push forward for the fans, and maybe take a loss in 2024 after the most exciting season in Twins history? So they got to be careful not upsetting all the goodwill that they built up with that playoff stretch last year. They do still have 2 months until spring training, and a lot of deals get done in January. There's still some trade rumors, so there's still some things they could do. But it is a little disheartening if you're a Twins fan looking over at the Dodgers being like, okay, $1 billion on pitching and Shohei, and we can't find $5 in the couch cushions to go get a backup infielder somewhere.
Well, get used to it, because that's been my whole life, and it's going to be your whole life too. It's just Minnesota sports teams are just like that. They've always been like that.
Yeah, they're very mid, as the kids would say. Tom,
very
very mid.
Look at you.
Right? See, I know all the lingo.
Okay, so
I keep up.
So mid just means middling.
Yeah.
They just don't want to complete the word.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's like a shoulder shrug, kind of how's that Mackie and Judd podcast? It's just kind of mid. Yeah,
mid. So not middling, not middle. You got to do is just mid.
Just got to shorten it up, mid.
Okay, we'll get that done. All right, Palomino. We will talk to you in January. We're not going to see you guys. Judd's gone already. Now you're leaving.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we'll see where the Vikings and the Timber Pups are on the other side of Jan 1st.
Well, looking forward to it. It's going to be a great new year. We're going to make some changes on the show, and I'm very happy about that. So we'll just see you, I think, January 2nd? You're going to be back by then?
Oh, yeah. I'm not even going to sleep this whole time. I'm just going to be waiting by this microphone to talk Vikings with you.
If you sleep, you might miss something.
Yeah, I don't sleep. I wait for the Tom Barnard show. 8:10 Mondays and Fridays.
You lie very well. That was a really good
What
lie.
do you mean? I'm not lying.
I couldn't tell you were lying at all. All right, pal. Looking forward to it. What? It was a great year, and thank you and Judge so much because
it's a blast, man. It's a blast. Yeah, it's funny. We didn't really I didn't really know you until maybe a year ago, and we've both been doing our own. You for much longer than me. Our radio things at different companies, but it's been fun being on this show twice a week and making people laugh, making people cry, feel all the emotions,
and doing a phenomenal job of reporting sports the way they're supposed to be reported.
Exactly.
See,
yes, that's how I pride myself. No clownery at all.
No, but thanks for all your support too. I know you guys chirp about this show and your show once in a while, and I really do appreciate that because new podcasts take a while to get established, and you guys have both helped a lot. So thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Everyone, Merry Christmas. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Happy.
Phil Mackey, Judge Allgad's Score North, ladies and gentlemen. Love working with those guys. You know what I'm saying. Yeah. What happened?
I got a little nervous. I was going to say happy holidays, and I realized he was leaving. I said happy, and then I just stopped.
It sounded like you choked on some food or something mid-sentence. Happy.
I love that guy. He's great.
Oh, Phil. Phil's a great guy. Judd, too. Judd's another great guy.
Oh, yeah. They're both nice lovely.
People. No doubt about it. Maybe you should learn something by not being able to complete that statement. Think about that.
What do you mean? Like I should?
Well, I don't see anybody laughing at that, huh? You were just roaring a couple of minutes earlier. Nothing. Never mind. We got to take a break. Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque and improve blood flow to the penis. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust, with respect that you deserve.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant. Over the years at holiday time, Bradshaw and Bryant has been able to help thousands of Minnesotans arrive home safely from the bars. This year, there's still lots of things that we can do to ensure that you stay safe on the roads, like slowing down, giving yourself enough time that you're not in a rush, no texting and driving, hands-free phone calls, and of course, no drinking and driving. Please be safe so that you get home to your loved ones. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. This year, my biggest wish is that we all remain happy, healthy, and even a little more kind to one another.
A lawyer who will fight with confidence and pride, working harder, going farther, with my client on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice, and you need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad you did. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security and investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I'm Tom Barnard, and I'm a paid endorser. We will get that done, ladies and gentlemen. This is great. Grand Ole Creamery Holiday Cake. Win a customized ice cream sheet cake for you and your family this Christmas and New Year's from Grand Ole Creamery on Grand Avenue in St. Paul, featuring holiday-flavored eggnog and winter wonderland flavors through the end of the month. Enter now through the Tom Barnard Show app. That's Grand Ole Creamery Holiday Cake. Phenomenal stuff. Grand Ole Creamery is wonderful anyway. Terrific. Speaking of wonderful, Channel 5's Chris Eggert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Mr. Eggert, how are you, sir?
Hi, Tommy. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah?
Yep.
You're not feeling it today?
Yeah, I haven't felt it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, the flow sucks. Just does.
I'm
I'm a
sorry
very
to hear
honest
that.
person about that. You don't want to ask me any more questions about it. I tend to be a very honest person about that kind of stuff.
I feel like it's great to be critical of your craft because it just makes you better.
Absolutely.
I'm the biggest critic of what we do on TV generally.
Absolutely.
But hopefully the overall it ends up with a better thing on TV for people. So
No, I think that's the way you have to do it, to sit around and go, people are doing this and they're doing that and somebody's doing something different. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And people need to know that. And tell I mean, that's not just radio, television, all that stuff. It's every job. If people aren't working together, it's not going to work. That's just how it is. So I'm glad to hear that you do keep an eye on that kind of thing. Do they just tell you to shut up, or what do they tell
Probably to a fault, actually.
Well, see, there you go.
But
there you have it.
I get more fed up with my industry as a whole, not necessarily what my particular organization is doing. But yeah, anyway.
Well, no,
go ahead.
What you're saying right now is absolutely true. I drive around once in a while, and it doesn't matter what city I'm in or whatever, but I do listen to the radio. And there are some good people on the radio, but not many anymore. There's a few good ones left, and that's about it. But it's a business that's failing, unfortunately. Well, I shouldn't say failing. It's moving into a different direction. That's a better way to put it.
That's why we're right here on these babies. We're ready.
Yeah. Yep. That's very, very true. So what's happening in the world of news, pal?
Well, a murder. It's been a bad week for homicides in Minneapolis, which has been fairly well documented, but it's just like over the course of the last week, kind of bad. There's good news, bad news on the getting together for the holidays front. RSV is trending down. So you may have a lesser chance of getting that,
right?
But the flu and COVID are trending up. So use caution. I don't know. At this point, is anybody really making changes to their holiday get-togethers?
No.
Yeah. I just think everyone at this point is pretty much going in eyes wide open. Like if you're getting together with people who maybe haven't seen in a while, there's a chance somebody's going to get sick, right?
I guess so. Like I said, that's been a couple of years now, a few years since anybody.
Right.
And like I said, I got inoculated 3 times, boosted 2 times, and I still got COVID twice. So what are you going to do? I did what you told me to do, and it didn't work.
Right. Gas prices are down, particularly in the Midwest, which is great. We're cheaper than Minnesota and Wisconsin's below $3 a gallon for quite a while, which we haven't been forever, ever. Still not cheap, but it's at least more affordable than it has been. So that's good.
That is a good thing. Gas. What did it? I'm not talking about in Minnesota because it was less in Minnesota, but let's say in Los Angeles, where did it peak?
Well, it's always higher out in LA. Like West Coast is the worst. I'm not sure where it peaked, but I remember at some points like it was like pushing $5-6 a gallon out there, if not even higher than that, which is ridiculous.
It is. And now where is it? About 280, something like that?
We're just under $3
under $3
in Wisconsin and Minnesota. So,
that's good.
And you can see it quite a bit cheaper than that if you get, if you drive around a little bit.
I think 280 is the lowest I've seen. That is true because I've been doing a lot of traveling lately.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you do that, anybody else do the Cub Rewards thing? You can pretty get some decent gas at Holiday with that. You don't?
Costco.
No.
Costco's huge.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Tom, I do the Costco line a lot, but I don't do the Cubs food thing. That sounds awesome.
When I leased my car, they gave me like the 10 cents off at Holidays. So I go in there and I just swipe that. So like I got it for $2.79 instead of the $2.89 that it was the other day. So
that's solid.
Yeah.
So you got it for $2.79. So that's a penny cheaper. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
No question. So are we getting there? Is that,
yeah, I don't know. It's what I'm afraid is there's so much everything going on in the Middle East right now, and they're talking about rerouting ships to try to stay away from the Houthis who are hurling bombs and stuff at everybody.
Right.
What I'm afraid is going to happen is the people who are shipping giant tankers of oil are going to have to move their ships a different way, and somehow that's going to play into things being more expensive. I mean, it doesn't usually take much for the prices to start heading back up again. That's purely me reading the tea leaves from what I've seen.
Right.
But well, enjoy it while we can. What else did I have for you guys? Meta is coming to Rosemount. Not like meta, like the overall feeling of peace, like meta.
Yeah.
Although I've always considered the southern suburbs kind of a meta place.
Sure.
Facebook's building a giant facility down there, but the parent company of Meta. So
they're building down by like New Prague or
no, in Rosemount.
Oh, right in Rosemount. Okay.
Yeah, just there's a big. I read a lot about it in the paper. There's a big plot of land that was owned by University of Minnesota for whatever reason, and they're going to build like a server farm type thing there. So it's not actually going to employ that many people, but I think it's going to be a pretty decent sized facility. And not everybody's happy about it because who's happy about everything that ever gets done, right? Like,
well, that's very
surprised.
Did somebody tell me that Shutterfly moved out of Minnesota? Is that right, or is going to move out of Minnesota?
They've definitely scaled down their operation. I don't know that they're not here completely, but I have read quite a bit about them scaling down.
Does that have to do with our beautiful state tax rate?
I mean, you could always wonder that that's not somewhere in the back of.
Well,
that's definitely a thing, but I don't know if it also is a matter of there being more options like that available now than perhaps there were 10 years ago for.
Yeah, that's true.
I
suppose pictures are kind of difficult now anyway. If you can take anything with your phone you want, you have it right there on your phone. Do you really need somebody like Shutterfly?
Yeah. I mean, it's always, and then you got to be like a decent planner to use Shutterfly versus like the way we normally do it, which is like 1 hour before I want to send the Christmas cards out, I slap something together at Walgreens and, boom, it's done. This will work.
There you go.
What else? Oh, US Bank Stadium wants to spend millions on a new fence.
What, 62 million or something? 62 million for a fence.
It's not just a fence.
I know. But
but I mean, I don't know. Where do you draw the line with that? But what is there is very obviously temporary. It's not aesthetically, it kind of looks hokey. They're talking about building something more permanent and then more of like a permanent entry and exit point that's a little more like I don't know, secure is ultimately what they're about, but they're also trying to talk about something that sort of opens up the whole area to the public. And so, yeah, that anything that goes on over there is kind of a weird, the sports facilities folks, because they'll have these meetings, but people don't always cover them. So everyone's not always quite sure what they're spending the money on and where that money's coming from. And so that's always, but that's just for what it's worth.
So, I mean, and again, the interior of that stadium is magnificent. The outside is hideous. Will this fence make it look better?
I think that's what it definitely sounds like that's the plan. I didn't see any actually renderings of it this morning. So I'm not sure if they revealed any of that when they talked about this amount of money, but and they're also going to update the turf in there, which apparently needs to be done. So.
Okay. Because the interior of the place is very, very nice. There's no question. It's very comfortable and laid out very, very well. But was it supposed to look like a giant Viking ship or something? Is that what
I think that was right? Wasn't that the idea behind it? I mean, it's definitely abstract, but I guess depending on like if you're coming down there at night and if you're coming from like if you're coming south on 35 there toward downtown, it is pretty cool when it's lit up. And I mean, it definitely, it's a really neat looking structure. What it's really supposed to be, I guess I'm not exactly sure, but it's kind of like the state flag. It's abstract.
Oh, you're bringing that up again just to piss me off, are you?
Always. I want to end our 2023 on a Tom being pissed note.
Every time I look at that flag, I think of Gilligan's Island for some reason. I don't know. It's like, oh, the skipper and Gilligan. It looks like a flag that should be flying on a boat.
Yeah, it's something, but
and I still don't understand what the point of it. So you got a star, but it's what, an 8 or 10 pointed star, and then you got blue, and then you got light blue, and oh boy, how exciting!
Somebody made a mock-up of one yesterday with Prince riding a loon, which I thought was pretty funny.
That's good.
Yeah, like it was funny. I'm like, now that's something I can get behind. But.
See, I would like that. That'd be magnificent, but it's never going to happen because we can't be happy. That's the number one thing you have to understand now is that no, that'll make somebody happy. We can't have that. God, I tell you, I have to ask you a question because I know you got to go in a couple of minutes, but I got to ask you because it's getting to the point that I can't do it much longer. Why is the national news so horrendous? The people are terrible. How you doing this morning? I'm not your buddy. Okay, just read me the damn news. All right, you got it.
I remember we said earlier about me being very critical of my craft.
Yes, I remember that.
I'm to a fault probably, but I am not a big the news like yuck it up. I mean, you can't. To me, it's got to be. Though. To me, it's got to be like genuine because that's what we're supposed to be doing. We're genuinely giving you what's going on out there. I hate the yuck it up, but part of it's necessary evil, I suppose. But yeah, and the morning shows typically on the network are the big yuck it up culprits. But we do a yuck it up show from 9 to 10 too. But that's not news. Like it's supposed to be a yuck it up show.
Yeah,
so.
That's a whole different deal. There's I don't know. It's just one of those situations you tune in, and I can tell you if I went back and turned on a TV right now, and I put it on Fox, they'd be talking how mentally incapacitated Joe Biden is, and we're going to have to do something about that. Then if I switch over to CNN, Donald Trump is the most evil human being ever born, and he should be executed at noon on Friday. That's all it is now is hate. They just puke up this hate every morning, and everybody latches on to it. It is not good for the country.
Well, that definitely from the cable news. That's a whole different formula than the network morning shows. And I haven't turned on, and I will do it every morning on my way home. I'll turn on the satellite radio and listen to some of the networks and find out the cable news to find out what they're talking about. I haven't flipped the radio on any time in the last 2 years where it hasn't been exactly what you said. It's like the one channel's talking about this, the other channel's talking about that, and it's always the same thing. And I'm like,
I just don't understand. Look, I'm not a fan of Biden, nor that big a fan of Trump either. I'm still looking for somebody to vote for, and all they want to do this, and it's all about money. It's all about trying to win the election. It's not anti-Biden. It's not anti-Trump. It's let's make it the worst they possibly can, so we make all the money.
That's pro-divisive. It's pro-divisiveness is what it is.
It is. That's a very good word. I like that. Yeah. Did you invent that word?
It just came up right here. Right.
I love that.
I breathe. I just breathe the new saying into the universe. I feel really good about that.
I think we should get back to the days like with Eisenhower and those guys. If you criticized him, you'd ended up in prison somehow. I don't know how that happened. I don't think that's necessarily true, but it was close. It was close enough. Yeah, I just don't want to watch the news when you are so one-sided about everything. That's why I don't understand people can be so far right and so far left. You have one thought and that's it. And it's on both sides.
Yeah.
How you got to think a little more broadly than that, don't you think?
Well, I guess all I can say is somebody must be consuming it because otherwise, why would they keep doing it? I mean, that's, but I don't know. Listen, I'm not at the network. I work for the local news. The network's not calling for old Chrissy boy, 50-year-old one-legged guy. I'm not that's not happening.
They should be. I'll call them. I'll give them a call. It'd be wonderful. No, I would look. I sit down. I watch Channel 5. Channel 5 is I've been a voiceover guy for Channel 5 for about off and on for the last 50 years. So I've always watched Channel 5. One thing I really like is when you go on the road now because of streaming. You can watch Channel 5 in any city you want to now. You can watch your station. There's a couple more, not all of them. You can't do all of them, but yours is always right there. So no matter what city I'm in on that particular day, I can watch you in that city, which I love that. That's wonderful.
It's cool that's a possibility now because of technology. There's also some pretty cool apps that will pull together news from all around the country. And if you want to, you can just pick the city and watch the news. I enjoy doing that just sometimes to get a little bit different perspective of what's going on in different places too. But
Yeah, I mean, you want to look at both sides. That's why I watch both CNN and Fox, even though I hate them both.
For sure.
Because I want to see both sides. But now they're so far apart, I don't even want to see that anymore. Because I'm not learning anything. It's just I know you're going to hate Trump, and I know you're going to hate Biden. Oh, boy, that's really helpful.
I think we should also put on It's a Wonderful Life and let that run.
There you go. And then throw somebody off a bridge. Did somebody get thrown off a bridge in that movie?
Well, Clarence, not. George jumped into he jumped down to the river, right?
Oh,
right.
Okay.
And then didn't Clarence save him?
He was
Clarence was the angel.
Yeah, like didn't he see his life, what it would have been like if he wasn't born when he jumps and then he gets put back in that spot and then doesn't jump and runs around being like, I love you. Ah.
Still holds up. Still holds up.
You're right. No,
gotta watch that one every time during the holidays to get your head right, in my opinion. But
we will give it a whirl, sir. Well, thank you very much. Merry Christmas to you. It's been a joy working with, and I'm very serious about this. I love working with you. I mention it at least a couple times a week. You're just a really solid, good guy, and I love Channel 5 anyway. So thank you, sir.
I like being here, you guys. Let's big things for 2024.
How about 2025? It's going to take some work.
Well, with AJ, I understand that.
Hey, Chris, happy early birthday, by the way.
What? Wait a minute. When's your birthday? We missed out on something.
Nope, you didn't miss out on anything. All right, you guys, have a good holiday.
Okay, you guys have fun. That's magnificent. Bye. Thanks a lot, Chris. Chris Eggert, ladies and gentlemen. Channel 5's Chris Eggert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation. 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Chris Eggert and the news. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. Sandy will join us right after this, as a matter of fact. You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Well, I hate to break your Beast Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys Island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now, that's the reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of the Monroe County being beautiful. Monroe County is beautiful, by the way. They're not kidding. The Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. Also true. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself, and if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield, and he's a super real estate agent. When it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys, he lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That is onekeywest.com. Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, Zero Resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
Most folks know that the Grand Old Creamery has been iconic in the Twin Cities as a small batch handcrafted ultra premium ice cream parlor with over 300 flavors and 32 on hand at any given time at their St. Paul Grand Avenue and Minneapolis Cedar Avenue locations. What you might not know about this third generation, family owned and operated delicious dessert destination is that the taste of the Grand Old Creamery with 14% butterfat and locally sourced dairy from farms within a 100-mile radius of the metro is in a store near you right now. That's right. Nicely priced pints of the most popular flavors of Grand Old Creamery are patiently waiting and coolly placed in the frozen section of your favorite high-quality grocer. And if you're feeling a little Santa-like, ho, ho, ho,
It's me, Santa.
Our eggnog and winter wonderland flavors are available for a limited time for you to stock up on our Grand Avenue location only. The made in Minnesota taste of Grand Old Creamery awaits everyone at Lunds, Byerly's, Kowalski's, Hy-Vee, and find your nearest store at grandoldcreamery.com. Then ask for a spoon.
I'll do it. K&L Surplus and Ammo is your one-stop shop for all firearms-related products and is a preferred choice among trap enthusiasts and waterfowl hunters. For over 25 years, K&L is an authorized SKB shotgun dealer with a huge selection of youth models, has a huge selection of trap loads, too. Fall hunting is here. Head to K&L Surplus, stock up on waterfowl loads. K&L now has a lot of the calibers that have been hard to find in stock. K&L Surplus and Ammo is veteran-owned and offers first responder and veteran discounts. Check this out. Mention this show and receive a 10% off anything in the store. Yeah, baby, that is anything in the store. K&L is also committed to safety and a licensed FFL retailer. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners and me. Gun owners for over 25 years, Buster. Go to www.klgunstore.com. We will get it done. There's no question about it. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevier Sports is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That is minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Sandy, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Glad to hear it. What's the latest?
Now, the latest is your Vikings. Will they win? Will they lose? Will they make the playoffs? Will they not?
Bob, I have to ask you a question. We were talking, earlier this morning, Phil Mackey, about this. Doesn't look like the Twins are even going to make an effort to be good next year. They haven't made any moves at all.
Oh, you got the Dodgers going nuts.
Yep, $1 billion. So it doesn't look, I love the Twins. Don't get me wrong. I'll always be a fan of the Twins, but they're not going to be any good next year because they don't have anybody.
I'm starting to believe that they're getting ready to sell this team.
Sure looks like it to me too, Bob, and I'm glad you said it and not me because I was thinking the same thing. I don't think that team's going to be around here much longer.
No, I'm not saying that they'll leave, but what would make sense is you got A-Rod, who now he's a partner in owning the Timberwolves. It would make sense. The guy's a baseball guy to get his money pal to buy that team too, or get some people together to buy it. And it just it seems like they don't care. Maybe they're trying to make it more attractive in terms of what the number will be by not adding new contracts. And maybe they just don't care. They want to take as much out of it as they can. I don't know, because it is baffling.
Let me put it this way. If they do as well with the Twins as they've done with the Timberwolves, works for me.
It's amazing that this team tied with Boston for the best record. But I got to be honest. I mean, I've never been a huge Timberwolves fan, much less now after Anthony Edwards' little deal. You saw that whole story, right?
Yeah.
He did. Yep. I just don't respect the guy. I don't see how you can. Yeah, he's a good player, but he doesn't seem to be a very good person. And it has nothing to do with my feeling, with abortion. It's how he treated this woman, allegedly.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I always ask the question, why do you get involved in situations where you're going to end up being treated like that? Because if she didn't see that coming, she should have paid better attention and closer attention.
Well, I don't think she's a gal who went to one game. I mean, the photo I saw in the New York Post, she was at a different NBA game. There are women who like going to NBA games and meeting NBA players.
Yeah.
But I'm not even talking about whatever potential behavior she had. I'm talking about his reaction and behavior.
No, I know.
And by the way, can't he write a really eloquent statement? Wow.
Tell him about that.
Yeah.
It's
what he wrote? Oh, it was unbelievable.
Yes.
Especially when you take a look at the things that he, I could say allegedly, but he did not deny that he wrote these things. What he wanted to know, because she hadn't gotten an abortion, apparently, what's the hole up? HOL up.
Yeah, HOL. What's the hole up?
And I'm not even sure what NAW means. NAWL. That was another word other than Nolans, it wasn't what it was talking about.
Who knows? These people are imbeciles. You know that. They're idiots.
What? The guy who said it best was years and years ago, Mike Lynn, who was the GM of the Vikings back in the 80s, as part of the 70s, 80s, maybe even into I don't know if he made it into the 90s, but he said it's a dangerous cocktail when you mix youth, fame, and money. And that's what these athletes are. They're young, they're famous, and they got a ton of money.
And most of them are really stupid.
Well, and this kid, I'm not gonna. I don't know where his intelligent quotient is, but he's the one who was basically. Didn't he say something along the lines of, "Well, it's a good thing Michael Jordan wasn't playing when I'm playing." Okay, AE. But you know what's amazing to me, Tom, about this story? The sycophantic behavior of the media. The media in town has basically ignored this story. None of the riders of the team want to touch it.
Yeah, no, I know. No, you're absolutely right. It's all ass kissing, Bob. That's what I am disgusted with the world right now. People are either ass kissing or they're mean as hell. There's no in between.
Well, The Athletic, which, they portray themselves that they've got all this, these great stories. The day the story broke, and it was a big story in the New York Post, the AP, ESPN had stories. The story in The Athletic, no mention of this. It was that Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns, how they get along, how great they get along. But you can't run away from these stories because you don't want to they're afraid that they won't have access. I mean, I didn't have access to Denny Green for basically the entirety of his time there. Right. And it didn't matter because the story needs to be told.
No, I agree with you, Bob. You've always been, and I'm not trying to suck up to Sandy here, but the one thing I've always liked about your writing is you do not kiss ass, which I really enjoy.
Well, okay, and I'm going to give you the biggest example. I did not want to destroy the image of Kirby Puckett, but I had to write it. You remember that story because I got some of the tapes, and you heard some of them from the woman who was his side action, one of his side actions, and it was he was not the guy that people thought he was, and I was told to write the story, so I did it, and I didn't like it because I actually had liked Puckett, for covering him. He seemed like a decent enough guy, but there was another side to him, and that's what I wrote about. But a lot of guys wouldn't go near that story.
Oh, I tell you, one of the worst nights of my life. Remember when Ocean Air used to be over on 13th and Nicollet across from Ichiban? Remember that?
Oh, the Wayzata, was that the same as the Wayzata one? Did they move there, or is that a different one?
No, the one's downtown. That's Ocean Air, isn't it? I think it's on like 5th and Nicollet now. It was on like 13th. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm in a restaurant, so I walk back to the men's room, and I hear this, Tom. And I look over, and there are these 3 women, and I don't recognize any of them. So I just thought maybe they're listeners or whatever. I walk over. I got the dissertation for 1 hour from Paul Molitor's wife, Tanya Puckett, and Chuck Knobloch's wife. They were
ex-wives or wives?
They were about to become ex-wives, all 3 of them. And I got an earful, man, from those 3 women. I'm telling you what, those guys were not popular with those women. I'm here to tell you.
No, and Tanya Puckett, who sadly is deceased, as is Kirby. She had a private investigator that she hired who had given me information about Puckett, and it was horrific.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Coming after her with a chainsaw, putting a gun to her head, and just horrible stuff. And he followed him around, and over a 24-hour period, I think he followed him to 7 different women's houses. He probably, what I'm guessing, he probably was an early Instacart deliverer or doing Amazon.
That's what it was.
Money.
You're absolutely right, Bob. That's exactly what it was. Yeah, Kirby Puckett was never my kind of guy. Supreme athlete. My God, he was a phenomenal baseball player. But as a human being, not so much.
Well, and
not
that's
my kind of guy.
It's fresh now because of what happened, but that's the distinction I have to make with Anthony Edwards. Yes, the guy can play basketball, but that doesn't mean he's a wonderful guy or should be a role model for kids.
Unfortunately, that is true, Bob. It's just, if you're going to be around actors, professional athletes, and a couple other people are a massive pain in the ass.
Be careful who you let your kids have as role models.
Yeah, you got that right. It's exactly right. So what else is happening, Sandy?
Well, I got to go back again to the, to your Vikings. And the last 3 games, I was talking to Chuck Foreman about this and Jim Rich from Fox 9. They both think they could win 2 of the last 3. I think their only hope is that the Lions clinch their playoff, they win the division, clinch their playoff position so it can't move, and they play all scrubs on in the last game, and the Vikings can win that game. But again, a couple of weeks ago, I said, "Oh, wait, they wind up winning." This team, you cannot say with certainty what's going to happen.
No, I would agree with that. I mean, their record is horrendous, but I suppose not horrendous, but
7-7. Yeah,
obviously mediocre, no question.
Yes,
the team is just not very good. Sorry, they don't have a quarterback. They don't even nobody to have even approaches being an NFL quarterback.
No, and what they need to do is they need to temper their enthusiasm. Oh, we got to have Cousins healthy. Don't, if you want to bring him back, fine, but don't give him the ridiculous money. No team in the NFL will to a guy coming off an Achilles. And by the way, speaking of Achilles, remember all those stories the last few? Oh, Aaron Rodgers, he may come back. Well, clearly he's not going to because the record is terrible. But he was never going to come back. This is all Aaron Rodgers promoting Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's very good at that.
Oh God, he is. Yes.
I've never met him. Is he a big a prick as he seems?
My only interaction with him was back when they won the Super Bowl, not under him, under Brett Favre. I interviewed him because he was the backup, and he was in that one instance. It was the only one-on-one I ever did with him. I've been in bigger settings with him with a lot of media, but it was just me and him talking. And I found him to be fine. I mean, he was accommodating. He did not try to brush me off. And I mean, it's a guy from Minnesota. He didn't know me. So, I mean, that was my one-on-one, but that's before he became the quarterback and the future Hall of Famer, and people change.
Well, you can't take that away from him either. He was spectacular. There's no question about it, but I never had a chance to talk to him. I never met him or anything like that, but I don't know many people that are all that impressed with him as a human being.
Including his family.
Including his own family.
He's estranged from his entire family.
Yep, because he's one of the most arrogant human beings. That's what they say. I don't know. I've never met him, but they say his own family considers him to be extremely arrogant and unapproachable.
Is he dating someone now? Because every year it's a different well-known woman.
You're right, it is.
And it doesn't last. It never lasts with him.
No, very true. So what the hell? So we got, like I said, at least we got the Timberwolves now kicking ass out there, doing very, very well. So it's something to get us through the winter. That does help. The Wild still needs to get a lot better, but I've been saying that for about 25 years now.
Yeah, and they still paying off big contracts too, which hamper them a little bit. And how about you got to watch the big Gopher game at the I'm calling it the Quick Lube Bowl because
Quick Lube.
And again, they got a quarterback they had to pay. What was it, $30,000 to come back to play the game? That's incredible.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, it was $30,000, something like that. No, I will not be watching the Popsicle Bowl or what is it called?
The Quick Lane Bowl.
Quick Lane Bowl. Okay. Is that a grocery store or something? Fast food?
For the most part.
That's what it is. I have no idea.
It's not. I think they sell auto parts.
Oh, it's Quick Lane Auto Parts. So you can go in there and buy some new floor mats and you're good to go.
Yes. And that's what every kid will probably get a floor mat.
That's a possibility. I'm glad to hear that. All right, Sandy. Look, Sandy and I have been working together for about 35 years now, off and on, here and there. He gets fired constantly, and then I get fired.
Not more off than on, but a lot of off.
A lot of off, and then, we all end up getting fired and blah, blah, blah. Boy, there's a lot of it going on. I was talking to BJ Shea, guy from KISW in Seattle.
Yeah.
Phenomenally high rated, BJ's a great guy. It was wonderful. Odyssey just called him in one day and said, we don't need your services anymore. This guy was kicking everyone's ass in Seattle, but they looked at how much money he was making, and that's all that matters to these pukes in radio now. And that's one of the reasons I'm working with Hubbard, because the family owns the place. I don't have to deal with some corporate asshole.
There's no real commitment in it because there's always turnover. And that's what I hated about working at the newspaper. A new sports editor would come in, and it's like you have to prove yourself all over again, no matter what you've done.
Yeah.
And,
it's unbelievable.
And I was fine with all of them, but except the last guy. And I even, when I was cordial with him, I said, I know this is going to turn. I mean, more than a dozen people either got fired or left because of him. And I was one of them who left.
What was his name, like Jimmy Crutchfield, or what was it?
I'm not even going to dignify.
But that's the guy you're talking about?
Jimmy Crutchfield. Yeah, it was Berditzman. It was that damn Berditzman character.
He literally was the biggest piece of shit I ever worked with. He was terrible.
Who, Berditzman?
Yeah, Berditzman. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It's just that business for some reason, Bob, or this, I should say this business. You guys do realize that working with the Hubbards, you're working for, well, obviously,
family.
You know this. because you worked with that same horseshit outfit that I did. But it's a whole different deal because it's a family. They've done very well. They have money. The other problem they got in a lot of places now is they are so deeply in debt, they aren't ever getting out from under that debt. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, and you know what Hubbard offers is there's that, because it's family owned, there's that institutional knowledge of everything that's happened and everything you've done. It's not like they bring somebody in from another I don't know, just pick any city, Detroit, Buffalo, Syracuse, that knows nothing about the market, and suddenly they're put in charge.
No, you're absolutely right. And it just the smile in your face and stab you right in the back kind of thing. And I'm not even bitter, but I love this job. I like working with the Hubbards. This is where I started. This is where my career will end, which is, how lucky I am that I started my career and ended my career in the same building. That's pretty damn cool, actually.
Well, it's not over yet.
In the middle.
I mean, you could go to 3 or 4 other places before you're done. You never know.
What
is that? What's that station? The one that plays that Ruth Kozlak went to, the one that played all oldies, very oldies from the 40s.
I have no idea. It's in town here.
It's not in town. It's like in a suburb.
Oh, like Stillwater?
Maybe. I think that might be it. But I mean, it's like where old DJs went to play out their years. What the heck was it? Oh, I'm drawing a blank on it. Somebody will come up with AJ, get on it. Old DJs go to die.
I got to be honest with you. I just absolutely love the fact that Tony Lee did an impression of Ruth Kozlak, and she hated it. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was good. It honored her in a way. I mean, if you're a big enough name to do an impression of, that's a pretty big deal, isn't it?
And I actually could not tell the difference.
I couldn't either. That's exactly the point. I couldn't even tell either. But Bob, like I said, man, for 35, 36 years, whatever the hell it's been, I always got to have Sandy around. That's all there is to it.
Yes, I'm like gum or dog poop on a shoe. You just can't get it off.
It's both, actually. Like dog shit with gum in it.
Keeps it even tighter there.
No, it is. It's been great though, Bob, and I'm glad you came on this show and you're doing so well in your own endeavors. Boy, you work about 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day
I mean, there's some days that are longer than others. It's nothing like that. I mean, I've already completed today's BS show because I.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. So I try to get. I can't do it every day, but I try to get it done. Before 9 o'clock. Sometimes it goes to like yesterday was after 11 because of just scheduling. But 2 or 3 days a week, I can get it done fairly early. So
that's the ticket. Well, again, Bob, I love working with you. You're a great guy. Your family's much better than you are, but you're okay.
Well, Tom, I greatly appreciate that. And I enjoy working. I'll go around the horn with Brittany, you, AJ, Tevin. You guys are a delight to work with.
Thanks.
Well, Brittany, you've always been a delight.
Oh, I'm shocked. I'm getting this. I didn't know.
All right. It's the holiday season, spread you good cheer.
Yeah, all right. Well, happy holidays. Merry Christmas. I love your family. And go give a horse a hug for me, please, Bob.
Yes, that'll be the first thing I do.
Obviously.
Yeah. I can see the sincerity in your face.
No. The first thing I'm going to do when I leave my studio here is change the filter in our furnace so that we don't lose any heat. I talked to Steve Wukowski this morning about that. So it's a good idea so you don't have to call anyone over the holiday if you have any problems.
You had to call Sabre to remove a filter?
Right.
Oh, Steve Wukowski is on my show giving homeowner tips every Friday.
Is he real? Is there anybody you didn't steal from my show? Anyone?
No. As a matter, actually, yes, there's a few.
Like who?
Well, do you have
Brian Miller?
Brian Miller on the show, but
Brian's a great guy.
No, there's a number of there actually is, and there's so and so and him and no they're
yeah.
No. I could go on a daily thing. Most of my guests have nothing to do with with your show. I mean, Smart Start MN. Do you have them? They've been with me since the beginning of the BS show.
Yeah. Well, why aren't you bringing them over here? If you're taking all my people, why don't you send me a few people?
All right, I'll do that for
you.
I'll do that for you. We'll
Bob,
do that.
I got
that. I got Arco Interiors. I got the Solidarity Health Share. I got
that's good.
I got
That's
a million
good.
of them. I got the, it's just all auto glass.
I got a million of them. Yeah,
I
okay.
got a million of them. Actually,
remember I said
I will, Tom, I'm very, very fortunate because I'm at a point where yes, I'd love to have more for revenue, but I don't want to have so many that all people listen to is commercials.
No,
So,
that's very, very true.
I mean, I'm pretty much where I want to be with the number of them because I just don't want people to feel there's too many commercials.
No, I understand that. That's very smart, actually, Bob.
You do a good job with that too. I mean, they don't go too long.
Well, the Hubbards are really good about that because when they constructed the whole format and the log and all that stuff, so they're pretty good about that stuff. They don't shove it down your throat.
Is there time for me to ask you one question about one of your advertisers?
Yes.
Okay. The one that makes your private part work better. They break up plaque, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can they break up plaque in arteries going to your heart? Because it would seem to be the same sort of thing.
You would think.
But I mean, if they could do that, my God, the number of people that would be rushing to the door. Not that there aren't enough guys worrying about their junk, but to break up plaque. I mean, a lot of people,
right?
Arteries are 90% clogged. Well, if they could break it up, then they could break that up. Maybe you should ask them about that.
We did ask them one time, and so
What'd
it
they
is
say?
it's a technology that they do use in Tangent with Echo, the one where they put the tube in your artery. So they use it with that because a lot of times if it's fully blocked and you're having dead tissue or necrosis, is that they talked about how at that point they need to go in there. So especially when it deals with the heart.
So it can be done, but it's not in all circumstances.
Correct. And also a lot of times with heart failure, it's a specific valve. And they talked about how the valves in the penis, it's like very not generalized. You can get away with kind of broad spectrum instead of being hitting that specific spot.
Look at you, Little Miss once wanted to be a nurse and former
it's
paramedic.
Pretty cool. It's pretty cool technology. And the fact that it's not invasive is legit.
That's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because you hear that if you need that done, you got to go up through the groin. Ouch.
Yeah.
You don't have to go up through the groin. It's on skin level.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about when they actually, the way the surgery is done now.
Oh,
not
that surgery.
Not
you mean?
yours.
Yeah, okay.
No,
You're
not
right.
what you're doing. I'm talking about you get surgery for when they stick the thing that inflates, the mesh.
Right.
Oh, aren't you sorry that you said, okay, what you got? What do you want?
Yeah. Why did I say, hey, Bob, what you got one more thing you can tell us about? You're dying you're going to have a heart attack today. Is that what you're saying?
No. But what I'm saying is, hey, if they only help you with your junk, they're worth it.
Okay, good. That's a good close right there, Bob. Magnificent comeback, I thought.
All right, then. All right, have a wonderful Christmas.
I will ask him that, Bob. Have a magnificent Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you after the 2nd of January.
I live for that.
Thanks, Bobby.
All right, take care.
Bob's Answer Your Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That is minnesotapersonalinjury.com. We shall take a break. Be right back. My God, Bob had about almost a half an hour report. What the hell? Sandy.
Whatever we pay him, he was worth it today and today alone.
We don't pay him, do we?
Oh, yeah. No, we better not.
No, I hope not. You've all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this, continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows, the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths, regular price $79.99. For a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That is a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special, and of course, many more. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market. North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabanco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw and Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
I will get it done. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years. I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put it customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians. They're not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, and at a fair price. Keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes. Okay, we have to talk about the wisdom of play. I've never played Santa. Anybody played Santa?
I have. I was selling Finnegan's and Finnegan's is that beer here in Minnesota that all the profits go to charity.
Okay.
And our Santa canceled on us, so I just wore the outfit and people took pictures and bought Finnegan's. It was at a liquor store, so there was not I wasn't breaking any hearts.
So you're on the first floor the whole time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you that because this guy was not.
Oh no.
A dad dressed up as Santa. Apparently he was trying to pull a stunt, but unfortunately onlookers could not believe their eyes. They saw Santa. I don't want to read the next part of it. A high-rise block of flats, and what some thought was all part of a performance. They thought this was a guy just performing something, kind of show off how, ooh, look how over the top we can get with Santa.
Yeah.
But apparently what the guy was doing was trying to surprise his children. Oh my God, there's actually a picture of it.
Of what?
Santa, head first, is headed 24 stories to the ground. Woo!
What?
Jesus, Palomino. Oh my God. Dad dressed as Santa plummets 24 stories to his death in a horror stunt gone wrong. Onlookers could not believe their eyes as they saw Santa plummet to his death from a high-rise block of flats. And what some thought was all part of the performance. How are you going to fall 24 stories and live through it no matter what the performance is supposed to be?
Oh God.
Yeah. Once he's fallen down, like I think it should be pretty obvious to anybody watching that that's not a part of what was supposed to happen.
I would have to think you're right about that. It's like, first of all, he's coming down head first. That's not a good sign, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Children watch in disbelief as Grandfather Frost. Oh, he wasn't even, he's the Russian Santa, by the way. That's Russian Santa. That's what it says here. Grandfather Frost, the Russian Santa, plummeted to his death from the 24th floor of a high-rise resident building. The stunt took a catastrophic turn as the industrial climber turned Santa for the night had planned to scale down the tower block in Chelyabinsk, Russia. Once at the bottom, he was due to meet and greet the youngsters who were waiting patiently beside a Christmas tree. Does anything ever go right in Russia?
So the kids watched him fall to his death?
That is terrible.
Do you think because kids didn't realize what it was really all about, they went over, come on, Santa, get up.
And also, this is somebody's dad, so they don't even realize they just watched their dad die. They just were like, Santa? And then like thinking,
I was trying to think the farthest I've ever fallen. I think 3 stories the farthest I've ever fallen. And I landed on my feet, so it wasn't that big a deal. But it still hurt. I will be honest with you. I fell 3 stories and it was on the grass. And even though it was only 3 stories, it did hurt when you hit the ground.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
what were you doing 3 stories where you fell? Like how can't the farthest I've fallen is maybe like out of a chair.
Okay, first honest part of this, that it was not unintentional. I did it on purpose because I was a very young man who I don't know who I was trying to convince what a tough guy I was, but it was somebody. So I jumped on purpose. I went out in their balcony. I said, anybody could jump off this. They said, there's no way you could jump off. I said, anybody could jump on this. There's grass down there. It's not even a parking lot. Didn't kill me, but it didn't feel real good. I will tell you that.
I don't know who you were trying to impress, but I can tell you this, it definitely worked. And they're probably still telling stories about don't mess with that guy who will jump off of a building. So it definitely worked. Yes.
Yeah, it was 3 stories. I do remember that. And I'm really glad I didn't try it at a parking lot because it may have broken my legs, I would think.
Yeah, that's terrible. I don't even know how you casually say with a straight face that, yeah, it does hurt when you jump from 3 stories. Because yes, Tom,
yeah,
it would.
Because I think it all adds up when you do the between the floors thing and all that. It all adds up to about 45 feet. So it's
probably
quite a drop.
There, yeah.
It was quite a drop. I remember that. And on the way down, I went, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
I actually did on the way down think about I should probably have not done this.
No.
But I had a few cocktails that made it better. Although, did I even have to tell you I had a few cocktails before I jumped off the third floor balcony?
My husband always talks about so we went skydiving, and they made it very clear. They're like, when you land, you have a person on your back. You land, just fall on your butt. You're not going to land on your feet, so don't try. Well, Justin was like sitting on the ground and I was about to land with the instructor. And I was like, I'm going to impress him by just landing on my feet. Oh my God, it hurt so much.
Oh, did it really hurt a lot, huh?
Oh my God, yes.
But I have a question. If you land on your butt, you're going to nail your tailbone. Wouldn't that hurt like a mother?
It's distributed a little bit more.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Surface area.
Yeah, I suppose. Because you're coming in at an angle, right?
Exactly. So you can kind of slide in. But I was like, no, how cool would it be if I just land on my feet, maybe do like a Spider-Man pose or something? Like, he's going to be so impressed. To this day, Justin talks about, remember the time you thought, like, you've never skydived in your life and you're going to land on your feet?
Were you guys the one yesterday telling me a story about the guy adjusting his helmet because he was going to jump out of an airplane? He's skydiving. And he kept adjusting because he wanted the camera to be exactly perfectly centered. And he kept messing with his helmet. And finally, he got it where he wanted to be. So then he jumped out, forgetting one thing. He didn't have his parachute on.
No, we did not talk about that.
You didn't talk about that?
No.
If you guys could find that story, it's the guy. I guess it was just hideous because literally the second he jumped out of the plane, he realized he did not have his parachute on.
That also kind of sums up American culture today. Perfectly.
You think so?
Like you're about to do something and you're more concerned with how is the video for, social media or going to look rather than getting everything you need to survive jumping this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you're so focused on getting that cam, because I want to get these pictures from the camera on my forehead just perfectly, and you're so distracted by that, you don't even bother to notice you don't have a parachute on.
Yeah, that seems like something you would, because at the place we went to, which is just right in Wisconsin, I think it's Baldwin, maybe.
Yeah, it is Baldwin. Yep.
They all get everything ready before they even get in the plane. That's all part of the procedure. But I guess if you're casually doing it, you can kind of do whatever you want.
I guess apparently he was falling so fast because some guys can go into that tuck position and come down at you at a very high rate of speed and kind of like catch you. That has happened before, but I guess he had before they even realized that he did not have a parachute. It was just too late, and he was falling so fast they couldn't even catch him.
Oh,
there was speaking of skydiving accidents. There was a video I remember when I was probably in high school that was on some TV show, and it was a couple that was skydiving. And so the husband was filming from his point of view, and the wife, her parachute only opened halfway when they started getting towards the bottom. And so he's filming what he thought was going to be her death. And she ended up miraculously surviving somehow. Her parachute opened up just enough to slow her down where she could survive. But yeah, anytime your best option for doing something is, survival, I'm usually out. I'm not going to be jumping out of a perfectly good plane.
Yeah, I'd have to go with you on that one. I'm good. No question about it.
It It was fun though. I would say that. Do I want to do it again? Nah. But
No.
like some people get addicted, and I'm like, that was a lot of money to do something really quickly and waiting around. But it was fun. I would say one time is enough for me ever.
I've never had a desire to do that. And I don't know why. You would think, I mean, looking inside my own head, I would think, God, I should have been really interested. I don't know. I just was never interested in doing that.
Yeah.
Candy ass, is that what it is?
No, because it wasn't my idea. My sister-in-law had just kind of gone through a divorce, and she just wanted to do something extreme. And she asked, she goes, can we do this? And like, you don't say no when people come to you with that kind of stuff. So I was like, yeah. Me, Justin, and Stephanie were all going. And we ended up having a blast. I mean, the whole experience, you're so out of your element. You're so everything. When you see your husband strapped to this muscle man, that's a whole experience too. Like, what is happening? So I think just anytime you can get out of your element and feel awkward and a little scared, it's kind of fun. But again, I don't need to do it again. Like, that feels like check, done, next.
You guys ever done it?
No, and you'll never see me in a plane jumping out.
Me either. AJ?
No, I think it'd be fun too. I don't know if like I'd ever actually go through with it. I like the idea of it, if that makes sense.
No, I understand what you're saying. And I think she's right. I think it is Baldwin, Wisconsin. So it's only like about a half-hour drive over there.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
And I found that story, by the way. I threw it on Tom's news stories if you did want to dive into it.
Oh, you got it on there?
Yep.
Oh my God. Tom's news story. Let me click on that bad boy. Oh, God. Oh, you got good. Thank you. You did find the exact one. Oh, and they got a picture of it. You didn't tell me they have a picture of it.
Well, I mean, I figured I'd try to top the Santa falling from 24 stories earlier today.
Oh my God, that's hideous.
That's kind of my bit. Just find stories of people who fall.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
There is a picture of the guy plummeting to his death. And he's all akimbo, one arm's here and the other one's over here, and his legs are all. It looks like he knows this ain't going to end well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's got to be top 5 worst ways to go out. Like, just the whole time falling, knowing that this is it. Like that, I couldn't imagine anything worse.
Thank you for finding this, because I forgot that one part that's in the headline. A highly experienced skydiver sadly lost his life after he forgot his parachute with, it says a few words, 4 words, I think. They didn't really print that very clearly. Revealed in the vintage footage. Not noticing he had forgotten one very vital thing, Ivan McGuire grabbed his camera to film a student and an instructor from the Franklin County Sports Parachute Center in the U.S. He had jumped from the plane, said to be on his 3rd jump of the day in April 1988. He did not know it would also be his last. So this happened I didn't know what happened in 1988. Why is it coming back?
It's still good.
I believe it's because the footage of the jump has somewhat resurfaced. So making its rounds through the news cycle again.
Yeah, that would make sense then. He did not know it would also be his last. McGuire, 35, sadly filmed his demise as the camera was still recording while he was falling. Before his deathly accident, he had completed more than 800 successful jumps. His footage captured the haunting of few moments before he made an impact with the ground. It appears that he reached to pull his parachute. He got closer to the ground. Oh, he didn't even know until he got close to the ground he had no parachute on. Oh, that's not, well, he didn't have to suffer for long then, so that's good.
Yeah.
The terrifying realization hit. The final words caught on. What were his final words? He had 4 final words.
I can't even imagine.
This is gonna hurt.
What the hell?
Hurt. That's pretty good. 4 words.
Yeah.
I love you, Mom.
Oh, that's good too. You going with that?
Yeah, I'll side with Brittany.
Okay. His final words are, "Oh my God, no." Oh. His body was later found in the woods around 1.5 miles from where the airfield that he took off from. So it's 1.5 miles away. They found him in the woods. So in other words, on the way down, not only did he hit the ground, but he hit about 80 trees on the way down as well. But I didn't know that story was that old, but this just started. This came into circulation again somehow.
Yeah, I the razor, somebody found it. Some of that stuff you can pull out anytime, and it's interesting.
That's really, really sad to think, oh my God, you all of a sudden realize. And I thought when I saw it on the news, because there's a picture of the guy and everything, they have video of this whole deal. I thought he had jumped out and knew right away that he didn't have a parachute, but he didn't know for a long time he had no parachute. Probably better though, don't you think? Instead of suffering all the way down.
Oh, 100%.
Because he probably said, oh my God, no. And he hit the ground about 2 seconds later. So
yeah, because if he was filming a tandem one, you think he would try to like grab onto them in some way or something?
They did show, matter of fact, after that story ran, they showed that very thing where a guy forgot his parachute and his buddy swooped in on him and grabbed him on the way down, which I don't even know how to. He had to do that where they kind of go into that deep dive position where they tuck everything in.
Yep.
Because when he grabbed his buddy, he was moving, man. He was just, he was headed toward the ground at high speed, caught the guy and saved his life. I mean, it's pretty amazing.
I can't even imagine because I don't remember having any sort of control over my body at all when we were free falling. Nothing. No, not even a thing. I was kind of like, I'm ready for the parachute in my mind. I can't even enjoy it. It was like, you're just like, it's wild.
It's got to be a weird feel. I've never done it, so I don't even know what that's like. But so again, I didn't parachute, but I jumped from 3 stories, so that wasn't the same deal. Because the second I jumped, I went, that was really stupid.
Yeah,
it was. Yes.
Our listener Eric wants to make sure that I convey that it was tandem. I am not a real skydiver by any means. Yeah. I went attached to a human. I didn't go through a whole course to learn to do this one time. I was attached to him. The nice thing is that being attached to somebody, you really have no choice. At that point, once you get to the door, I think a lot of people would freeze, but with you being like pretty much in a baby Bjorn in the front of someone,
right?
They just kind of jump. Like you're not brave. You're just attached to somebody.
Well, it's still quite an experience, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome. There's no other way I would do it because I'm not going to spend years of my life or thousands of dollars in a program to do this one time.
Do you have to, and the reason I'm asking this is very specific because I saw something once I didn't think I'd ever see. Do you have to kind of qualify with height and weight and all that stuff in order to skydive, or do they not care?
I don't know. I'm sure there are parameters. I think the person behind you has to be in your weight class. So
okay, all right.
I'm sure there's parameters, right? Because there's parameters on everything at some point.
Yeah, because the reason I'm asking you that, and I don't know how he pulled it off with it, but there is video of a guy, and it was a safe dive. It was a successful dive. The guy had to weigh 400 pounds. I didn't know a guy that big could parachute. Did you?
The guy that was falling, or the guy that
so the guy he just jumped out of a plane with a parachute, and the guy weighed, I would say, about 400 pounds. I didn't know. I suppose they have chutes that could hold anything. I get maybe. I don't know.
Well, okay, so the fact that you do tandem with 2 people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm sure those ones you will take on about 400 to 500 pounds.
Yeah. Well, and when you see people like planes dropping, cargo into countries that need aid or something during wartime, that's incredible.
Right.
And they parachute down. Yeah, that's got to be, maybe a couple thousand pounds, depending on what they're dropping.
So good. Everybody can enjoy it except for me because I'm not doing it. That's just how it is. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll be on the ground and congratulate you on a successful jump. There we go.
You looked really, really great coming down out of that airplane. I'm really, really happy for you. Let's go have lunch. What do you say?
When I land on my feet and break my heels to leave.
There are people I've seen do that, though. They land and then they run. They literally run once it's like, man, that's pretty impressive.
I'll be honest. I feel like the instructor on my back held me back. Like, I feel like I would have looked so much cooler if he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's a given. No question about it. Well, there are some stories this morning, but you know what? I got to do this story just because I get it. It's such a negative story. Well, at least the headline's negative, but I got to read it because how this kind of stuff happens, I will never understand. but it does happen. Innocent black man spent 50 years in prison. His compensation will annoy the hell out of. Why do I even want to see his compensation? So for 50 years, he's in the jug for no reason because he did nothing.
Yeah.
You would think it would have to be in the multi millions of dollars they'd have to give this guy for what they did to him.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Now, I don't know what the number is. I haven't seen it yet. A man found guilty in a 1975 murder has spent what the National Registry of Exonerations calls the longest prison sentence on a wrongful conviction in history. Glenn Simmons, now 71 years old, was named a suspect in an armed robbery that left the clerk of a liquor store in Edmond, Oklahoma, dead. That's according to the National Registry of Exonerations. A witness to the incident and a patron who was shot but survived both told the police they couldn't make out who the robbers were. However, somehow Simmons ended up getting swept into the lineup and was charged with both robbery and capital murder. So the guy had nothing to do with it whatsoever. He just happened to be in the lineup.
That's crazy.
I mean, I don't really understand. How does he end up in the lineup if he had nothing to do with it?
I don't know. I always was confused at how do you get, if I would never committed a crime and they're like, hey, we just need bodies for this lineup. Do they take other criminals that have committed other crimes that are already in jail? I don't understand how they ever did the lineups.
I would be so pissed off if I were this man. I can't even tell you. Because like I said, I might settle for 50 millions, 1 million a year for 50 years, $50 million, right?
Yeah.
That's what you owe me.
And you still would never trade that, Tom.
No.
You know what they gave him for doing 50 years in prison? $175,000.
Jesus.
You want to do those numbers in your head? Because it ain't a very big number per year, I'll tell you that.
That's probably that's definitely got to be less than minimum wage to work at, McDonald's or some factory. That's ridiculous.
Doesn't it come to about
that's $3,500 a year.
$3,500 a year. $3,500 a year, and there was no reason for me to be in prison, and this is what you give me?
Yeah. And there should be some sort of repercussions for everybody involved in putting him in prison.
I agree.
If you're a judge that banged the gavel and said, yep, you're going in, or you're the police officer that presented, any information and put him in there. I'm not saying you should go to jail for 50 years, but there should be some sort of repercussions for what you did.
Yeah, they can't just get away with giving this guy $170. First of all, what they should do is go to all these rich pricks like Bill Gates and all those guys. You like to take care of people? Why don't you each kick in $10 million? We'll give this guy $100 million, and that's what he deserves. Where are the rich guys in this whole deal? Where's Bill Gates? Where's all these other guys? Elon Musk. They should each kick in about $50 million, all three of them. And seriously, they love doing it, out there in the public. Oh, look how wonderful I am. Take care of this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, first of all, if you're worth $220 billion, giving somebody $50 million is not that much money, to tell you the truth. I know that sounds completely ridiculous, but it is true.
Right.
It's not that much money.
No. And they're smart enough to tax write-off or whatever else they need to do to shuffle things around where it's not that big a hit.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. They could probably donate that money, give him the money, and not have to worry about taxes for the next couple of years. Yeah. That's probably what it's all. Yeah, I literally, maybe we should start a fund. I've never talked to any of those guys, Bill Gates, Elon Musk. What's the other guy, Jeff Bezos?
Yeah. You mean you don't have a group chat with those guys?
No, I don't have a group chat going at all with those guys. Never met any of them. I was trying to think of who the richest person I ever met would have been. I suppose either be a Cargill or one of those people, I guess. They're some of the richest people in the world, aren't they? The Cargill family?
I would assume so, yeah.
Since she just bought an entire island and tore all the houses down so she could build her own house on the island. Yeah. And didn't she marry into the family? That's my favorite part of this whole thing. She's married to a Cargill, and she's the one buying an island and tearing the houses down.
Smart.
That's a big move. Don't you think? That's a very important, very big move, if you ask me. Right?
That's bold. That's bold.
I'm serious about this. I don't think I'm going to let this go. I'm going to see if I can find somebody who knows those guys and go, look, man, you got to put some money together. It's Christmas on Monday. You need to get your ass together. I don't care if you each give him $10 million. It'd still be $30 million. I still don't think that's enough, but I think he'd probably like $30 million at 71 years old. He could get by on that for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and I think people are on a similar kind of thought as you, Tom, because they started a GoFundMe for him.
They did, okay.
And he's at 241,000. So
okay, so now he's at about 400 grand total.
Which is crazy that he's received more money off of a GoFundMe from complete strangers than he did from the government that wrongly put him in there.
No, you're absolutely right. How do you say to this man, we'll give you $3,500 for every year? Honest to God, think about that. It doesn't even come to $300 a month because that'd be $3,600, correct?
Yeah.
It's not even $300 a month. I would not have been the one that had to tell that guy, hey, here's your payout. Oh boy, it's less than $300 a week, but I don't know how people do it. I really don't. It doesn't really go that much further in the story to tell you why they thought he was the one that did it. Apparently they for some reason were convinced that he did it, spent 50 years in prison, found out he was not even guilty, and this is the best they can do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you live with yourself.
Yeah.
No. And I mean, you can kind of give the, justice system a little bit of the benefit of the doubt from back in the day because they didn't have the technology as far as you hear all the time, like, oh, DNA evidence that, we were able to analyze today because we didn't have the technology back then. But yeah, it's still absolutely ridiculous that he spent 50 years in prison. And then once you're in, it's not like because everybody says they're innocent.
Yeah.
It's not like they just,
right.
take your word for it. So yeah, it's an uphill battle. And I'm sure he's happy enough just to finally be out, but it definitely has got to suck to know that that's what they value a human life to be.
Imagine thinking back, because I'm pretty much the same age as this guy. I'm trying to think back of how it would have felt when I was 21 years old. To be going to prison for the rest of my life because he was not initially going to get out ever. But then when they found out he was innocent 50 years later, they let him out. But I'm just looking back on how that would have felt 50 years ago if they said, Tom, you're going to prison, but I didn't do anything. Yeah, you did. No, I did not. I mean, how's that got to feel in your own head? You did nothing wrong and you're going to pay it. You get one life and this is how you have to spend your life. Really?
Yeah.
And you hand the guy $175,000 and go, this ought to take care of you. You ruined his life.
It's like actually brutal to put yourself anywhere near those shoes. Like I feel like the need. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal.
I don't know. The ruling makes Simmons eligible for up to $175,000. It's not necessarily even $175,000. It's up to $175,000, or again that beautiful, huge amount of money we were talking about. In compensation from the state for wrongful conviction, and opens a door for a federal lawsuit. Okay, so he is going to file a federal lawsuit against Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma City and law enforcement involved in Simmons' arrest and conviction. Defense attorney Joe Norwood said Wednesday compensation, though, is likely years away. Well, he's 71. It can't be years away.
No.
The average lifetime in America now is like 76, something like that.
Probably somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think that's right. So it's going to take a few years. So you might be dead by the time your family gets the check. God, what a life story this man has. They should make a movie about him, give him the money up front. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know we got to take a break here, ladies and gentlemen. It's just such a sad story that these things happen. Obviously, if they stayed after this for 50 years and finally proved to the powers that be that this man did not do this, somebody worked very, very hard for 50 years to finally get this job done.
Yeah, and probably honestly pass it off to somebody else because they were probably, older when they started this battle and then had to, somebody else take the reins if they retired.
You are absolutely right. We take a break here, ladies and gentlemen, right back. Timmy Lammers will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-0RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investment. Just call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes. Why do I have to suffer through Tim Lammers? I just don't get it.
That's why I have a special guest. I have Mari with me. So you can
Kitty. Mari?
Mari, yeah. Calamari.
Oh, calamari. Okay, so good.
Sushi. Those are the two cats, calamari and sushi. So
because both you and Kristyn Burt have a black cat. That's kind of cool.
We do, and the tabby too. So and they get along great. So wonderful kitty. And my son, he used to work at an animal shelter, and nobody adopted the poor thing. Followed him around for 2 months. He said, "I'm going to adopt this cat," and it's really, honestly, just the coolest. It's a cool cat, man.
Cat man. Hey, Andy, is AJ still around? Or do you leave?
He left.
Well, damn it! I wanted to tell him thank you because I know he had to leave. I didn't know he was going to leave. He leaves earlier every day. Is that the plan?
Got out of here right away.
AJ, if you're listening, if you're not listening, you can listen later. But thank you very much. It's been a great year so far. Well, I guess he's been with the show, I don't know, about 7-8 months, something like that, or whatever. But AJ's a very, very nice guy, and I wanted to thank him before he left because he usually hangs around a few minutes before he leaves. But hey, who puts up the list? Okay, you look at our pictures, and then there's a list to the right of who's on the show and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody a host of this show? They have LA Nick listed as host.
Oh, it's
LA
just a
Nick?
term. Yeah. For StreamYard. It's like
host.
Some of
LA
the
Nick.
computers are logged into the main StreamYard, and so that's why it says host.
But here's what I love. Yeah, it would be contributor. But here's what I love. He's on once a month for an hour, and he's a host. I like that.
He's the host of his own hour.
Of his own hour. Yes, is exactly right. Is LA Nick coming in for the podcast today or something, Andy?
Yeah, I think it's just the last hour of the family.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was supposed to be in on Thursday.
We moved stuff around because Officer Dave couldn't do it this Friday. He was.
Oh, that's right.
Mick's
Yeah, he had
gonna
to
fill
leave
in for him
early.
on Friday.
We can take care of that. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Lammers is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. So it'll be nice to be talking to LA Nick before it goes. But I really wish I could have told AJ in person because AJ is a very nice guy. He's great to work with. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, AJ. So you can go back and listen to this if you stormed out, you pain in the ass.
Now
Sure.
you have to find out if he's registered to listen for the podcast.
Yeah, see?
There you go.
I'm going to thank everybody else on the show except for him to see if he dug deep enough to find my thank yous. What do you think?
I think it's a plan. It's a plan, baby. So, yes, Merry Christmas to everybody. It's hard to believe it's here, and it's hard to believe it's real because of the zero amount of snow on the ground.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is there pretty much, from what I heard on the national news last night, there's no snow anywhere in America.
Really?
Not a lot.
That's what they said. It just hasn't snowed this year very much.
It's El Nino, baby.
Yep.
What happens?
It is. It is indeed.
I remember that. It's been quite a few years, but we had an El Nino before where it was like, I don't know if it was quite this mild, but it was mild for the winter, which I don't mind as an adult. As a kid, you know, you want snow and you want to goof around and all that sort of stuff. So, but I know, Tom, I'm putting this off because I know you're such a big fan of superhero movies.
Oh, cannot wait to see my superhero movies. I did find out I have an even bigger superhero that I didn't know about. I'll just throw this in very quickly. I was watching the second episode of Reacher, which I love that show. I just love that show. Brittany, you ever seen the show Reacher?
I have only seen the one I think John Krasinski played. Is that
no? That's Jack Ryan.
Right? Oh, that was Jack Ryan, right? The
yeah.
same
Okay.
thing.
Then
I thought you were going to say you saw the one with Tom Cruise.
And I saw some of the Tom Cruise ones, but I
he's a
haven't
big
seen
fella.
the new Reacher. I've seen clips of him, and he is a specimen. I will say that.
I will tell you something, and I'm not kidding. The second episode, he gets stabbed in the stomach or slashed across the stomach, I guess is a better way to put it.
Ooh.
He takes off his shirt.
All right.
Does he have an ounce of fat on his body, Tim?
No, he does not.
He literally, you talk about that rip, that whole stomach muscle. That sumbitch is put together. I was about 2,500 miles away, and I was still scared of him. That's all I have to say.
Merry
Yeah.
Christmas.
Honest to God, that guy is huge.
Brittany, you got to start watching the show. You
You
will
do.
fall in love with him. My wife will leave me for him if he's in the vicinity. I mean, this guy, and he really is great. I mean, start with season one. I mean, you don't necessarily have to start with season one because these are standalone stories, but you really do get the backstory. But that's what's great. I mean, Lee Child wrote, God, I don't know, 2,000 books or whatever, Reacher books, and this is actually book 11. The first season was book 1. They hop all over the place, but yeah, I love it. And I told you earlier, and this isn't in a bragging sort of way, but I have special access to the series, so I actually watched all of the 8 episodes already.
I'm special.
I'm special. Are you special? Is that Darren Nelson? Are you special? Special. You made fun of Darren Nelson and he got mad at you?
He did in the lobby of KQRS. He was yelling at me, and it was like hearing a guy with that voice yell at you. I wish you stopped picking on me all the time. I'm all upset about it. It's like you're making it worse for yourself, not better.
So you got a lot to look forward to with Reacher. There's just one scene I have to point out quickly in the first episode where he punches through a window, car window.
Yes, he does.
And he takes on a carjacker, and the way he takes him down, man, it's such satisfaction to see a slime bag get exactly what's coming to him.
I like it put that way. You're absolutely right about that.
Oh my God, he's so terrific. And yeah, so start with that one. Both seasons are on Amazon Prime. I was kind of hoping Officer Dave was in, because I know he's a huge fan of Reacher. We'll catch up with that. Hopefully he will have seen through episode 5 or whatever by the time we come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, highly recommended show. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. They push this thing back and back and back, which is never a good sign. It just tells you the movie's in trouble. The more money they throw at it, they hope to fix it. The weird deal about this one is it only costs $200 million to make instead of $300 million. I mean, it's just amazing to me the amount of money that they throw into these pictures. And I have to say, it shows in terms of the beauty of it, and the sets or fake sets or whatever, CGI sets, the special effects, they are spectacular. There's no question. And I tell you, the movie, as far as the story, it's like all over the place. I mean, again, when you're trying to fix something from the back end, you're trying to, I don't know if you're doing reshoots or whatever the hell you're doing. I mean, the story just gets all jumbled and just a huge mess. But it doesn't take itself too seriously, which to me is the key to all of these movies. And oddly enough, Marvel used to be the light-hearted movies that got to the point where they took themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And DC is the other way around. Now, when Christopher Nolan had the Dark Knight stuff, that was ground in real world, gritty stuff. And then Man of Steel came along and sort of had that Nolan-verse sort of feel to it. But then they started to lighten up with movies like Shazam and stuff like that. And Aquaman, because of Jason Momoa, he's in on the joke. Everybody in this film is in on the joke. They're having fun. So while, the story is like, what the hell is that? What are you talking about? I mean, the performances, even Patrick Wilson, who is the quote unquote bad guy in the first one, or one of the bad guys, has a lighter approach this time around. So even though story-wise, it's like, you know what, you just got to accept the fact that most of these superhero movies just don't make sense story-wise. They're just too much to try to cram into it when you're fighting against these special effects, because that's the big problem with any sort of action movie, is to find that balance. And most films don't. They just don't. And this one doesn't either, but at least it knows what kind of movie it is. So I have to say, I was very impressed and very happy with the outcome. Again, Jason Momoa can be funny. Sometimes he can be stupid, like he was in the last Fast and Furious movie. He tried too hard to be the Joker in the last Fast and Furious movie. It just didn't work. But this one, obviously, he knows the character. He owns the character. And sadly enough, because again, when these movies don't make money, the inclination by the studios isn't to make a smaller movie and concentrate on the story. No, let's just throw everything out. Let's throw out the baby with the bathwater, or whatever you want to call it, and let's just start again and throw gobs of money at it and see if we can get this one to make money. But again, when you're getting up there $200-300 million, it's impossible to make your money back. They just do not learn. So enjoy this one for what it is. It's the last one with Jason Momoa as Aquaman. And I'm sure, Brittany, yes, indeed, you think he is a hunk of a man.
Yeah, he's fine. I liked him in Game of Thrones a lot. So, that's cool. But I'm not I know that I'm supposed to really like extremely muscly men, but it's never going to be my thing. I like a skinny guy. I don't know why. So
you can dominate him. That's wwhy.
Probably.
You're so mean. That's
I
what it is.
I want to know I can take him in a fight.
I brought, Brittany, I brought up the Jason Momoa hunk factor because, again, like Reacher, like Alan Ritchson, my wife went with me to this movie.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I don't stand a chance if this dude shows up in town. Because she is so in love with him. And you know what else? She's in love with Patrick Wilson, too, just because he's a nice guy. He's a great actor.
Yeah, he is. Yep.
And he gets ripped for this movie. It's like,
Dang.
holy God. These guys are just embarrassing me. I'm sitting next to her and they're just embarrassing the hell out of me because these dudes are so ripped. But she says, Patrick, he's pushing 50 or he is 50. Hey, if he can do it, so can you.
Well,
Yeah,
you go.
okay. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Tim, I got to make an observation here.
Yeah.
You and I are total stiffs. Look
Isn't
around.
that the truth?
Look around at the pictures on this screen right now. You got Brittany Christmas vest on, celebrating the season. You got Andy wearing the Christmas red. You got Tevin wearing it. That's a shirt, isn't it? Oh, look at that.
It's a
ugly sweater.
onesie, and it even lights up.
It does?
All
All right, let's see it.
You're all looking very festive.
Okay, we're gonna
Gotta go plug it in,
light up.
apparently.
Oh,
You got to plug it in.
Oh.
Let's turn the lights off. I like it.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Oh my
God.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, well, I thought you were saying we're stiffs because we don't measure up to Jason Momoa.
Well,
and
that too.
And yeah. So, Brittany, I love your puppy.
Oh,
Thank
the
you.
puppy.
He
Hi,
is
puppy.
like the most pathetic, needy dog in the world, and he is my definition of a perfect man. This is my dream guy.
When you need somebody needy, that's really, really great. So,
Yeah.
what's your dog's name?
That's Murphy.
Murphy. And Murphy's how old?
Murphy is 6.
Wow.
Murphy's 6, really? It
Yeah,
looks like
I
he
know
had a
he's-
gray beard already.
I
Is it
know,
from
I
living
think
with
we-
you?
When
I
you live
think
with Brittany, you
Yeah,
develop
yeah.
gray hairs at a young age.
Exactly right. You turn really old very fast.
He was he had pristine, no marks when because he was Justin's dog before we got married, and of course now he's my
okay.
dog. And I think I've stressed him out. I think I've aged him quite a bit.
Don't you just love dogs? Honestly, God, we love dogs in our family. Love them.
Oh, he's so funny, Tom, too, because I know Justin's gone because our dogs aren't usually like allowed on the second floor unless we say come on up. But as soon as Justin leaves and he knows I'm up here, he'll book it right up to this door, and I'm like,
Oh.
Justin's gone for sure.
You know he's gone. No, it's
Yes.
great though. You guys dressed up all festive and all the rest of it, and Tim and I are just Tom
Well,
and Tim.
I should note though, I'm a Barton man. Barton, of course, is the private school the boarding school that is the center of the Holdovers, which is a Christmas movie. So
That
by
is.
default,
That's
I'm
true.
a Christmas
There you
movie.
go.
Yeah.
And
got my
Christmas
Barton.
in Vegas, so I'm good too. That's
you
Christmas
go.
in Vegas.
We'll find any excuse that we can. So
Vegas has lights, so yeah, that works.
there you go. There you go. So anyway, Aquaman, 7 out of 10 on the Lamameter. It's still a very enjoyable, very entertaining movie. It's the end of Jason Momoa and all the previous, Ben Affleck as Batman, Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. They're all gone. Henry Cavill, all of them, they're gone. So
Really?
let's bring on the new stuff. Let's see if they can do something different. Again, I think the problem is a studio that throws too much money at a project and just can't make it back, and they deem that a failure rather than actually investing in a story and and appreciating the actors like Momoa, because Momoa is really good in this role. That's all I have. I have to run to another appearance.
Don't give me any of that BS. You have to go back to bed.
I got to go back to bed. Yeah. But I wanted to wish each and every one of you, since Tevin was kind of left out last time, Tevin, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love you, sweater.
Why was he left out?
I named everybody on, was it Tuesday? Did I name everybody? Or was it last week?
One of the days, yeah.
Yeah. So, Tevin, you're just the absolute best. I can't say enough about
Okay,
you.
that's too much now. That's way.
Sounds like ass kissing.
It is ass kissing, but I'm making up for my mistake. So, Andy, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Brittany, the same to you and your family and your lovely puppies as well.
Puppies.
Tommy, you and Catherine, and Jude.
Judy. Well, I'll tell you what, Tim, I will say this, and it's absolutely true. That's one thing I will tell you about me. I do not, so far, everybody that's left, I said, hey, thanks. It's been great working with you, all the rest of it. If it weren't, I wouldn't say it is. I just wouldn't say it. So, Tim, working with you is a thrill. You're always, you give some new information. You're very forthcoming, but it's been a joy working with you all these years, and thanks for coming over here with me. I appreciate it, pal. It's great having you on.
I appreciate the opportunity, as you know, and I think, Tommy, it's going on maybe 10 years that I've been doing reviews with you. So
I know.
Thank you for putting up with me for so long.
I want you to tune in, though, in about 52 minutes. Because at the very end, I'm going to go last, and it's going to be, oh, God, Brittany, you're a disaster. Everybody else are going to – I thought you were going to give me the finger there.
No, I have no problem with my low bar.
With the low bar being a disaster.
Low bar Brittany. New nickname, Low Bar Brittany.
Yeah, I don't
All
think
right,
people
everybody.
do that enough, but I don't think people do it enough. Thank their coworkers for the great job they do and all the rest of it. They need to do that more.
You're the reason for my existence, man. These
Why,
opportunities.
were you going to kill yourself?
Otherwise, I'd be no. I'd be marking my nonsensical movie reviews to the air. Nobody'd be listening to me. And you know what? Also, big thanks to Michael Bryant, because he's the man that's been sponsoring me all these years too. And without Mike, man, he is the best. He really is.
He does have a lot of faith in this show. There's no doubt about it. No question about it. Hey, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because our advertisers, and again, I'm not going to kiss some advertisers' ass if I don't like them. I like every one of them. I'm not going to work for somebody I don't like. It's just not going to happen. But no, he's a prime example of what you're talking about there. Our advertisers on the show are phenomenal. They're great
and
people.
friends. I mean, they're our friends.
They're very good friends too. Yep.
Absolutely. So
except for Bilski. Yeah.
Bilski. My Polish brother.
Your Polish brother, exactly.
Don't go knocking the Bilski.
No, there's no knocking the Bilski. I love Mike. Oh God, did I actually just say I love Mike Bilski? It's the first time I've ever admitted that.
And also I have to point out quickly, the first person that walked up to me at your going away retirement party almost a year ago. And remember how freaking cold it was a year ago?
I do indeed.
But Bilski is the first guy that came up and introduced himself to me, and that was very cool. Very great guy, great guy. So
that was a year ago tomorrow.
I know.
A year ago tomorrow, the 23rd of December.
Yeah.
That was weird when I left the show after 37 years, and they didn't give a rat's ass to thank me in any way, shape, or form. They were just, you wanted to pocket more money, so they hired some other stiffs or something. I don't know what they did, but yeah, that was a very nice thing to walk off the air and go, okay, well, I guess that's it. And then I shouldn't say all, but 95% of my friends were there. It was wonderful.
Who braved the weather, even though it was 80 degrees colder than it is today.
It was not nice out.
It was like deep freeze below. Like you shouldn't advised against travel.
Yeah.
That's what was really cool about that.
I remember.
Because it didn't matter. So all the people that cared about you, everybody was there. So yeah, it was great.
They were indeed.
All righty. Well, Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and we will talk to you again in 2024.
Sounds good. Thank you for all your help throughout the years, Timmy.
Thank you.
Have a good day, sir.
Yeah.
Tim Lammers, ladies and gentlemen, another really, really good. See, that's another thing. I'm not working with pricks. I just don't do that. You ever work with somebody you couldn't stand?
Yes.
Yes.
Have you really?
Like,
I have not.
And it was the worst.
I don't know if I have actually.
I'm trying. I mean, there's some people I didn't care for there, but one of them was, I found out severely mentally ill. So I get kind of changed my position on that whole situation. As a matter of fact, I just saw a picture of him now. Oh my God. He looks like Mountain Man Mike. It's like, oh Jesus, looking plenty rough is all I'm saying.
Oh.
So yeah, I mean, it's nice to work with people that you like, and Brittany too.
Yeah.
So
I have to even the scales for you.
I have to even the scales. Oh, I should do this, by the way. Tim Lammers, ladies and gentlemen, because he mentioned Michael Bryant, so I better support Michael Bryant. Tim Lammers brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Tim Lammers sponsored by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers. But yeah, I got very, very lucky in that whole situation throughout the years. The Sannies of the world and, Timmy Lammers, and you go down the list of all these different people. We got one coming up in about 7 minutes, of course. Kristyn Burt.
Oh yeah.
You know, she's been around Andy now for what, like 10 years. Did you know that?
At least.
Is it more than that?
I think, well, let's see. I can find out when her first episode. I'm pretty sure her first episode was like within the first 50 episodes.
Oh, was it really? So it's been 12 years?
Yeah, if you include her first ever appearance, it would have been. Let's see.
Unbelievable. And the only reason she knew about the show was she worked with Jesse Ventura for a while. That's how she knew about this show or my other show. And now this one. Can you imagine even for a day working for Jesse Ventura?
Looks like your first episode was 447. So yes, second year.
447.
Yep.
What do you mean 447?
Number.
Oh, you mean that's the number of the episode?
Yes.
Holy Hannah. How many episodes we got total?
We are at 2468 today.
2,468 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Think
3,000 just around the corner.
Just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. There's no question about it. We shall take a break. Be right back. What was her name again? She's coming up next. What is it?
Well, she's not on here, so she doesn't matter.
I think it's Kristyn Kurt.
Kristyn Kurt. I think it is Kristyn Kurt. I think that's right. Let me think about it. Oh, should we wait? Should we wait a couple minutes?
No. She'll join.
She'll jump on.
Yeah.
Right on
She'll
time.
jump on. All right. We'll be right back. Kristen Burt will join us right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet. You have all helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows and the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. Set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98. And for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That's a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom. I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and while car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales, this idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. One of the KBs is with us. There's, of course, Kristen Burt. There's Catherine Brandt. And who's the other one?
There's another one?
There's
Me?
another KB. No, I said Kristen Burt first.
Ken Barlow. Yeah.
Ken
that's
Barlow.
who it was, yeah.
Who's the other KB?
I don't even know Ken, but all the
Ken's a
KBs
good
know
guy.
each other.
I haven't talked to Ken in years, but he's always been a very, very nice guy. So KB, you're KB2?
I'm KB2, so Ken Barlow has to be KB3. Sorry.
No, he deserves it though.
Yeah, I was like, I think he's older than me, but he still is KB3. Still fall in line.
Just the way it works. It's just all I'm saying. So, Kristyn Burt, what's the latest with you?
Oh my goodness, wrapping up the year. This is kind of a fun story, and I've been following this one. Now, Lifetime did the very first Christmas movie with the sex scene. If you think about it, most Christmas movies that they do, like Hallmark and things like that, it's like just a kiss under the mistletoe. Well, they did a cowboy Christmas with a very hot sex scene. And now people are predicting that by next year, we're going to have super steamy Christmas movies like on Hallmark and Lifetime and Netflix.
How do you need this?
Yeah, I think I'm anti-sex scene in Christmas movies.
100%.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's three strikes. They're out. Andy, Kevin, me.
It's
but not just all the men. Wait a minute.
I could go either way. I
mean, I don't need it, but if it's there, it's kind of fun and something different.
Well, my problem is that it's not realistic. You don't have the energy after all the Christmas decorating and parties and everything. You just want to go to sleep.
Yeah, Christmas isn't exactly sexy because there's a lot of
Yeah,
people
it's
in your
not.
house.
Right. Yeah.
How many cowboys do you have entering your house at Christmas? Maybe that's like the theme.
That's the thing. Yeah,
That could be it.
If Justin went and got one of his 4-H hats from his childhood down in our basement, game on.
You know how that would go if I walked into the bedroom wearing Spurs? Yeah, Catherine would love that. Yeah, she'd be wild about that.
You never know. You never know.
Oh, who's the kitty now?
Oh, this is Kevin.
Kevin and Tevin on the same show.
Kevin needs to come over. I've got cat costumes.
Oh, look at the
Tried to
costume.
run from that.
London hasn't entered the building, but I was like, if I'm going to wear my Christmas sweater, then like Cat has to have costumes.
All my animals that are men are the needy ones. I'm not saying anything, but I think I'm saying something.
Well,
Look, you
you've
like
called
covered.
your dog, you've called Justin, and now your cat are all needy. Like you just dominate your house.
I think she just froze.
she did freeze.
Wow, what a weird place to freeze.
Yeah, I was like, wow, she's really mad about that.
I was like, oops.
I will tell her though.
There she is. She's
Oh,
back.
There she is. Okay. We're good.
Brittany, you just froze up with the meanest look on your face I've ever seen.
Holding the cat.
I legitimately thought I pissed you off with what I said. I was like, well, this is my last day on the show.
Yeah, all of a sudden you were just like,
that's it.
It's like, oh,
Well, Tevin, it's been good knowing you. I mean, have a good 2024.
Yeah.
I've been promoted to listener.
Listener. I'm going to call you Kevin from now on, exactly like I did yesterday. I'll be like, remember that guy Kevin that used to work on the show?
Yeah.
I'll be like, it was Tevin.
Tevin, exactly. No, Brittany just dropped off all of a sudden.
I think her internet might need to be restarted or something.
See, you bring a cat in and they F up everything. What a shock.
No, they don't. But I will say, boy cats are much, I don't know why it is, but it doesn't matter what breed of cat you have. Boy cats are much more needy than female cats.
Really?
Yeah, we call our female, like we call London, like she's a cat. Like she'll let you know when she wants you and when she doesn't want you. Where Linus, like you like have to touch him 24/7.
Well, I understand that. I wonder why that is, that male cats would be needier than female cats.
Yeah, it's some weird like breed thing, but all breeds within cats. So I guess it's a gender thing.
She keeps popping on and popping off. It's hilarious. She's
I
back
am.
in now. You're back.
I don't know what's happening. I'm like so scared. If Justin's dinking around with the Christmas lights, I'm gonna kill him. The power all went off in my closet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
Do
I
you have
don't
a
think
storm?
he's. What's that?
Is there a storm?
No, everything's fine here. But who knows? It's sometimes our cul-de-sac goes out and for weird reasons. But I think I'm back.
Seem to be.
Well,
Tom,
good
are you
enough.
the only one without a Christmas sweater?
Okay, I knew you were going to point that out. That's why I brought it up in previous 15 minutes.
I mean, mine's not Christmas. It's just red. So
I am the
Mine's a
only
cat,
one.
and then a cat with a hat.
I don't think I have a Christmas shirt. I think that's the problem. I don't even have a Christmas shirt to put on. I don't know why not.
I own more Christmas onesies than any regular adult man should own.
I think I have one or two.
I've got, I think, like 4 or 5 Christmas
It's like
onesies.
1 or 2 is kind of pushing the limit to like how many a grown man should own. So Tevin, I'm a little scared to know what your number
But
is.
it's like 4 or 5. You know,
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's not a little.
In my defense, I didn't buy any of them.
Oh, I
They
know.
were thrust upon me.
They were given to you, but that's a good thing, long term anyway. So, Kristyn, I need your help because I love Christmas movies, but I've seen every one of them. Is there a Christmas movie out that I might enjoy or everybody might enjoy?
Has everyone watched the Xmas yet? That was like one of the new ones this year that I thought was fresh and interesting.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that one's on Freevee, and it's a couple. They're exes, obviously, and the ex-girlfriend gets invited to her ex-boyfriend's family Christmas because he's not supposed to be there, and we all know what happens. He winds up at the family home for Christmas, so that they're both there, but. And you kind of go, oh, I know what this predictable thread is, but there's a couple of like loops in there that I think made the movie feel fresh and the storyline feel interesting and different from the typical like Hallmark fare and things like that.
Yeah.
Or there's
no sex, no cowboy sex.
No cowboy sex. Tom, have you watched Candy Cane Lane with Eddie Murphy? That's a new one that's on Amazon.
No.
That
one's
give
it a whirl.
Yeah.
Was Eddie Murphy like retired or something? Because he just like all of a sudden is back after what feels like 30 years of not being in things.
I don't know. Kristyn, did he take a hiatus for some reason?
I don't think he took like a retirement, but I think he took a step back and then all of a sudden he really did start to sort of come back to the picture. And I think, we've got Beverly Hills Cop 4 coming, things like that, Candy Cane Lane. So we'll see what happens. I think this could be an interesting chapter with his career, but I think like I thought Candy Cane Lane was fine. Like I was really excited about it, and I was like, this is good-ish. You know what I mean? Felt like it wandered a little bit, but I don't know, Eddie Murphy in drama. Like I always think about his turn in Dreamgirls that got him nominated for the Oscar. I'm like, more of that, because I think he has a lot of really untapped talent, and people just need to cast him in roles that we don't expect him to.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of movies. The new one with what's her name, Mary. What's her name? I'm trying to remember the show she was on. It was really a great show. Oh God, I can't remember her name, but she plays an angel or something, and she appears to help this guy at Christmas with his.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What the hell's her name?
Wasn't it Melissa McCarthy?
Melissa McCarthy. That's exactly.
Jeannie. You saw Jeannie.
The movie was
Jeannie on
not
Peacock.
good.
Yeah.
That was not a good movie.
I heard it was mediocre.
Yeah, it was mediocre. I mean, I don't think anybody did a bad job. The story just wasn't very good.
The one thing about the Christmas formula and the Christmas movies, I mean, they actually teach screenwriting classes out here, like how to write your formulaic Hallmark movie. Not kidding.
Okay.
Because there are certain things that they look for. In terms of the movies, you have to have like a sassy best friend. You have to have some diversity. You have to have like the underlying message of like a Christmas miracle, but not heavy-handed religion. Like there's certain things that they're always looking for. But I think sometimes they fast track these movies like too quickly, and you're like, is there really any substance to this? Does it feel any different than the 20 other movies that I've watched over the last few years? And that's why I'm like, what are the ones that are going to stand out to me and at least try and be different or try something fresh? And like, even if like Lifetime's A Cowboy Christmas isn't like spectacular viewing, at least they're trying something different, and they're probably going to spark a whole new trend for Christmas 2024. And we'll see if that edginess works in Christmas movies. But I'm always looking for people that are staying ahead of the curve instead of just going, okay, great, I'm going for the quick buck and, signing on the dotted line with Hallmark.
I find it a little creepy that you can't give up on cowboy sex in a Christmas movie, but you know what I'm saying.
It's Jana Kramer. So if anyone knows, she's like I feel like she's always in the tabloids. So of course they had her star in the movie. So we'll see. We'll see where it winds her up as a Lifetime darling, probably.
Will there ever be a Christmas movie better than A Christmas Carol?
Well, I think Miracle on 34th Street with Natalie Wood is better than A Christmas Carol.
It's as good, but not better.
I think it's better.
I don't know if I've ever seen
Scott. Oh, George C. Scott is unbelievable in that movie. He is phenomenal.
Well, yeah. Which of the 27,000 Christmas carols are you talking about?
A Muppet Christmas Carol is really good.
Yeah, that's the one.
I think that one's hard to beat. That might beat George C. Scott. I'm sorry, Tom.
George C. Scott. I'm just telling you.
Kermit the Frog. I'm telling you.
You know what's interesting that I just learned? The original Christmas Carol, 1930, whatever, 37 or something like that. Tiny Tim is still alive.
Really?
Wow, what a fact.
How old is he now?
Let's
Gotta be a
see.
hundo.
He's close. I gotta find out who he is.
I bet she's 94. That'd be my guess.
Dick Van Dyke territory.
Yeah,
It was 1938. Terry Kilburn as Tiny Tim. He is 97.
97. There you go.
That's amazing.
That's
a
pretty damn
good-
cool. He's still alive.
That's a good lifeline.
Yeah,
It
for sure.
certainly is. So we gotta.
Okay, I was just gonna say I have a kind of an update. I'm sure Tevin heard, but we were talking a few weeks ago about Golden Globes and who was going to host, and I'm sure you heard that it's Joe Coy, who signed on the dotted line just a couple days before Christmas. If that gives you an idea of how hard it was to find a host for their January 6th show.
Yeah, it
Jesus,
feels like they
really?
went way down the list of hosts to get, because if you're settling on Joe Coy, not top of mind really for anybody.
No,
You don't like Joe Coy?
I mean, I can appreciate how famous he is and how successful he's been throughout his career, but I find his style of comedy is a lot of based on him being Filipino, and it just doesn't.
Yeah,
that is true. He does sometimes lean like a little too heavily into it.
Yeah.
You know,
And
he's always
also remember, Golden Globe audiences are expecting you to be snarky.
Mhm.
Because that's
Oh.
traditionally what the tone of that particular award show. So I'm curious to see how he plays into it or leans completely away from it.
Yeah, should be. I won't be watching it, so I don't really care.
I have to cover it, so
Oh, do you
I'll be
have to
watching it
cover it?
for you. Yeah, I work the award shows, so
Eh, it'll work out in the end. I really do love Christmas, and I'm trying to find a couple of movies to watch. I'm not watching the Cowboy Stoop movie. Forget it. It's out of the mix.
Cowboy Stoop movie.
So the Eddie Murphy movie I should watch, or is it not very good?
I thought it
It's
was
not going to
okay.
blow your mind. It's if you're just looking for a Christmas movie to watch, you're not going to necessarily hate it, I think.
It's a little long, I thought.
Oh no.
It's a little longer than the
Oh.
90-minute Christmas
death.
movies. It's a little over 2, I think.
It's almost exactly 2 hours, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, too long.
Yeah,
Chris,
that's
let me ask you a question about that. We are now we have movies that are 3 hours long, 3 hours and 20 minutes long, 3.5 hours long. You're not The Godfather. Cut it back to 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's just way too long.
yeah, but I've
Yeah.
looked at it. I have the statistics say that the longer a movie is, the more it does make. People like it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Really? I hate it.
People are liking these 2.5, 3 hour long. Although, I mean, I wonder how much of that remains true if you remove like Endgame and Infinity War from that equation, because those made such an insane amount of money. They probably bump up the median like $500 million.
Avatar did well. And
Yeah.
it was like 310.
Avatar
I
did
mean,
well.
Barbenheimer. Oppenheimer did well. I'm so used to calling it
Barbenheimer.
Barbenheimer. Poor Barbie. She got mixed in there. Oppenheimer. That's another one that did extremely well with over a 3-hour runtime. So I just think it's story driven, and I think some of them will do really well in the first weekend and then drop off. So it's the ones that, to me, that have the staying power at the top of the box office for several weeks, and you go, okay, that was a good movie, and people actually cared.
I was really surprised they didn't bring him all the way to the end of his life, because he didn't live that much longer after all. He died at like 62 years old, Oppenheimer did. So I was kind of surprised they didn't go all the way to the end of his life. They just kind of let it kind of drop off or whatever. And I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. It was too long. No question. It was about a half an hour or 45 minutes too long. They could have gotten it a lot, condensed it a little bit. But did you guys enjoy the movie? Did you see it?
I liked it. I wasn't like wowed by it, but I'm not a
Yeah.
huge Christopher Nolan fan. I loved his stuff early on in his career, like
Yeah.
Memento, and then I don't know, they just got a little too heavy-handed for me. But I do think we hear a lot of complaints about the runtime of movies. It's not even though they're doing well at the box office, there is a complaint. I mean, and Martin Scorsese's film is not doing great at the box office with their long run time. So it's one of those things. I'm like, how long are studios going to allow directors to have this, like, their final cut, their unlimited time in the theaters? Because also for theaters, it limits the amount of time that people turn over at the concession stand where they make all of their money.
That movie's dreadfully bad. I mean, it's terrible. And from the beginning of the movie, as soon as you see Robert De Niro, you go, oh, he's going to be the bad guy. I guarantee it. And he is, of course. You could predict that entire movie. That movie was terrible, I thought.
Yeah, Scorsese's another one that I'm like, this stage of the game. I like a lot of his earlier work, but his last few films, I'm like, again, don't.
Yep.
I mean, but I think sometimes too, some of these directors are like riding on their reputation for years. I mean, I was at that Oscars. I was sitting in the audience when he won for The Departed. Now, do I think The Departed is the best of his career?
Nope.
No, he won based off of reputation because he was overdue, and that was really kind of the feeling for it. Should he have won for Raging Bull? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. God, that was a great movie. Raging Bull was phenomenal. What a movie that is.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? So no other suggestions for a Christmas movie?
I have one. It's
you do?
A couple years old. Yeah. But I was trying to remember the name of it. I had to pull it up. It's with Dan Levy, whom I love. It's Happiest Season. It's on Hulu. And he plays a secondary character, but he brings in kind of like all of like the lighter moments of the film. It's about a girl who was going to propose to her girlfriend, but she's not out to her family. And it's a zany comedy. He's really good in it. Happiest Season on Hulu. I loved it.
How about Black Christmas with Margot Kidder?
What is that?
It's a real movie, and it's the most murderous Christmas movie I have ever seen.
Oh, dang.
But the psychopath sneaks into a sorority house at Christmas time and starts murdering people.
Okay, well, if you don't want to do mass murder, I do have a recommendation for you, Tom, that I think you're going to get.
Good.
It's something you've seen, but it's what we watch every year at my house. It's the third season in The Office. The episodes is 10th and 11th. It's a Benihana Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny. And it's just Steve Carell is the most Steve Carell in
Phenomenal.
He's so funny. There's so many funny parts, and it's quirky, and he falls in love with this Benihana waitress, and it's a whole thing. And he couldn't tell her the difference between her friends, so he marked her with a marker.
Yep.
Like it's just the whole
so
thing.
Inappropriate. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious, and he is just like, he's got so many one-liners in that one. You'll just die. And me and my family watch that every year.
Now, Kristyn, you probably unlucky like I am, but the other three maybe not. I really wish that I had never met Steve Carell.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's got a real attitude. There's no doubt about it.
What, did you catch him on a bad day? Because that can sometimes happen.
Well, maybe there's a possibility. I've only met him once for a very brief period, and he was really standoffish and distracted, and he just had no interest. And it's like, well, look, I didn't show up to meet you. You came here. So I don't know why you got an attitude. I didn't come to you. You came to me. So calm down.
I know when they do press tours, press junkets, they're long days. And I think people get really, listen, it's a part of your job. You have to promote the film, and I get it. You're asked the same 5 questions over and over again. But I think that, you have to understand that, and you can make it through 2 days. Those press junkets are long, but it's 48 hours, and then you get to do the fun stuff.
Look, I mean, I love the guy. He was in that psychiatric movie where he's chained up in the basement. What is that again? Steve Carell's in it. It's really good. He's really, really good in that movie.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You got it, Andy?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
I would recommend it highly to everybody. He is the star of that show. The man is one hell of an actor, whether it's drama, because this is drama. This is not comedy at all.
The Patient.
The Patient? Okay.
And then he was also in Little Miss Sunshine, as he just had gotten out of a psych ward or a hospital. And he just played that so well in that movie. is also, I know it's not a holiday movie, but that is definitely, if you want to watch something kind of heartwarming and quirky with your family, it's definitely, it hits that for sure.
What is it?
Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine with Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Abigail
I'll give it a watch.
Breslin is such a star in that. And Alan Arkin won the Best Supporting Actor. This is so weird. Let's come full circle. He won the Best Supporting Actor over Eddie Murphy that year for Dreamgirls.
Really?
Yes. And here's a little drama. Eddie Murphy, once he lost, he stormed out of it was the Kodak Theater then, but now it's the Dolby Theater, because he was so upset because he was going to win. Like, everyone was like, this is his, Oscar. He's going to win.
Right.
And one of the studios decided to release that Norbert movie, like one of his fat suit comedies, when Oscar voting was out there, and people were like, oh yeah, and they voted for Alan Arkin instead. Norbert lost him the Oscar.
Yep, it's true. And never another chance at it. He never did win it, did he?
No. And that's why I think Hollywood needs to bet on him. Find him maybe an ensemble drama, give him a role where he's edgy, dark, just different than Eddie Murphy we know, because I feel like he's got it in him. He's like Adam Sandler. They can do drama. Robin Williams was another one who was really good at that.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey.
No question about it. So, okay. So maybe I got a couple of movies to watch now. I can watch them. What's the name of the movie you said again, Brittany?
Little Miss Sunshine. Again, that one's not a holiday one, but if you haven't seen it, you have to. And I think you and Catherine would get a big old kick out of it. It's just, it's like a dark comedy in a family that doesn't fit the mold kind of thing, and just how families are meant to be together no matter what element you are in it. And it's so good.
Guy's a hell of an actor. Seriously, I was not impressed in him, person to person, but I've always liked everything he's ever done. I really liked. I've never seen him on that morning show. Is he good on that show?
Yeah, he's so
excellent
good
on the morning show.
And what's that on, and when is that on?
Apple TV. All 3 seasons are out, and he plays a Matt Lauer character.
Oh, does he? Oh, that bad? Did he have the push button on behind his desk where he could shut the door behind you?
Yeah, and he did a really good job of showing the duplicitous nature of being charismatic and a lovely human and a predator.
Right.
He nails that role, and you actually have both empathy and hate for him. So it was pretty easy.
Oh, that's nice.
It's wild, and you go, and you kind of wrestle with that back and forth as he does, and as he deals with cancel culture and accountability and things like that. And the first season of that is so good. And the second's good too. I haven't seen the third, but the first season's amazing.
First season is so strong. It's so captivating. And it really does kind of take rip from the headlines with the Today Show. It's hard not to see Matt Lauer in that role, honestly.
I mean, what was wrong with Matt? What the hell's wrong with him?
Power corrupts.
Power. It's
that's what
power,
it is power.
Go back and look at what he did to Ann Curry, because when Katie Couric left, and Ann Curry was kind of the heir apparent to slide into that role, and she wasn't right for that role. I think we can all admit that. She was better as the newsreader, but he treated her so horribly. And basically letting her cry on air, pushing her out. It's astonishing that was allowed to happen at a network news organization.
Well, it's pretty amazing. A lot of these news organizations the chickens have come home to roost, because people are just sick to death of them, I guess. I don't know. It's very, very sad with a lot of this stuff. But Matt Lauer was never all that good anyway.
He gave some memorable. I think a lot of people probably remember his interview with Tom Cruise. He's had some interviews. There's one with Anne Hathaway, but you go back and look at him now, and you're like, oh, these were kind of creepy or inappropriate, or why do you ask that question? With him thinking that he's being hard hitting and probing sometimes, and you're just like, nope, wrong angle, or wrong way to phrase that, or totally inappropriate. So it's just one of those things. Time makes you look back at it at a very different lens.
How are they doing now? The ABC, NBC, CBS people, how are they doing, the anchors?
In terms of the morning shows, Good Morning America. Good Morning America continues to be the one that has come ahead in the ratings. It's
Oh,
always
okay.
been between Today Show and Good Morning America. And then the view is that CBS Mornings with Gail King is more of a news, like more serious news, where the other two are more
Mhm.
lifestyle.
And now she's working with Charles Barkley. King Charles is the name of the show.
Yeah, I don't think that show's doing very well from what I hear.
That show is horrendous. I've watched it. That show is terrible. I don't
We'll
know
see what happens, because if, CBS News merges with CNN anyway, they may
Right,
keep them
right.
on. I'm really curious to see how that all plays out in 2024.
That's going to be so weird because Warner Brothers owns all of them, right? Warner Brothers owns CNN, correct?
CNN, CBS News will wind up being, I'm sure they'll keep them as two separate news organizations, but they will be under the same umbrella.
You think they will be separate?
I think so. And I've got to tell you, it's like we're seeing this even in Hollywood when it comes to all of the entertainment journalism outlets. I mean, if you look at Penske Media, I work for them, but they own Hollywood Reporter, they own Variety, they own Deadline. Those are the three
Right.
major trade organizations to dish out news, and they're always fighting with each other, but they're all under the same umbrella. Penske just bought Golden Globes. So they're
Mhm.
putting on the Golden Globes. So everything is just merging into like one big blob, honestly.
Do you guys have a recommendation? Do you have a favorite network news that you watch?
No.
I don't watch network.
Ricky does not. And you don't watch network news? You guys either? So you guys just don't watch it?
I'll watch it, but I try to make a point of, if I'm going to watch CNN, I try to click over to Fox or MSNBC or whatever other, try to get multiple, just because if I don't want to fall into just watching one point of view 100% of the time.
I just watch old episodes of Nick News with Linda Ellerby.
There you go.
Good Morning America, by the way, 3.2 million viewers average. So
That's
actually, I mean, that's not bad by today's standards.
No, that's decent.
You know what's funny about that is back when there were only 3 networks, you had to have like an 80 share, or it didn't matter.
Yeah.
God, you had to have everybody. No, I just it's the reason I asked you that, because I would like to find a national news that I could watch without being able to predict exactly what they're going to say. Because I can watch, as Tevin just said, I can watch CNN and Fox, and I can tell you exactly what they're going to say, how they're going to say it, and where they're trying to drive you. It's gotten really, really old. I can't watch either one of them anymore. It's just, this is very boring because I know exactly what you're going to do. Right?
Yeah, there's not really any, I would say, really good national show that's going to be unbiased or not predictable.
See, that's too bad, because I'd like to find one that would just be kind of middling and go, well, here we looked at this and this, that's not true, and this is not true on this side. That would be really, really nice, because the biggest problem I have with network news, and this is pretty much CNN and Fox driving that big boat, and the other ones, MSNBC's filthy too. It's ridiculous. But it's like you're lying. Everything that you've said on the show so far is a flat out lie. You know it's a lie, but that's what they do on Fox and CNN. They just lie to you with their own ideas in mind.
You know what? My suggestion for news, because I was like, Associated Press for print is going to be your unbiased news, but maybe PBS NewsHour. That might actually be your unbiased news source.
Boy, it can't be a lot like Channel 2 in Minneapolis, and that's the most far left PBS station I have ever watched. And I like the anchor. The anchor, she's very, very good. She's a very nice person, all the rest of it. But it's just ass kissing. Well, Minnesota is a very, very political state. I mean, one of the most political states in America. There's no doubt about that. If you don't believe in a Minnesota politics, man, they hate your guts. It's amazing.
Yep.
It's just the way it is. So I don't know. I'd like to find the news that I could trust, but I have not found one so far. I thought some of those other ones would, like a Newsmax or somebody like that, would kind of try to find a middling ground, but they just don't do it.
No, Newsmax is far right. So
it is.
And they're the only ones even showing Trump rallies these days. So
are they real? Oh, so Fox isn't showing Trump rallies anymore?
No, Fox isn't even doing it, but Newsmax still is.
So what are they going to do if we have no presidential candidates because both Trump and Biden are in prison? What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
We just stay single as a country for a little while.
Love that.
Cool up
But it's complicated on our Facebook page. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the only problem I have with that from both sides is you're lying to me, and I know you're lying to me. What? Just do the news. I don't want to hear your lying bullshit. I really don't. You know, do most people feel that they're not lying? That they think that what they're saying is real?
I just don't think people really watch the news. At least,
So you think that's what it is? They just
my
don't watch
peers don't. I mean, my peers get the news from online, and ones that want, a slant will of course go to, an MSNBC versus a Fox or vice versa. But all of my friends who are journalists, we're just reading Reuters, we're reading Associated Press, because critical thinking is still a thing. It's important.
Gee, really?
So 3.2 million for Good Morning America, right? CNN total viewer average 500,000.
I know.
Yep.
This is during prime time.
But part of that is because there are so many far left channels, right? Like MSNBC is.
Well, if you combine
is.
MSNBC and CNN, because they're both basically the same thing.
Yeah, they are.
They add up to about 1.7 million, which is pretty much tied with Fox News.
Right. I didn't know that MSNBC was kicking CNN's ass that badly.
Over twice as many viewers, yeah.
CNN has struggled since they've kind of lost their leadership. They've gone through several people. It went from Jeff Zucker to Chris Litt. So it's,
right. And then they fired him, didn't they?
They fired him. I think he only lasted a year and a half, maybe.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. I know that.
CNN is going down. It's like 25% a month recently.
Yeah. Well, and they fired like half their on-air talent as well.
Really?
Things up, and a lot of the new people are unwatchable. It's everything is on TV. Just feels like a clown show.
Very smug, don't you think? And that's Fox and CNN. They're both so smug. Like,
I don't know. CNN does a good. I like their New Year's coverage with Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper, because I think they're allowed to drink this year after last year's alcohol ban. So
whoops. Anderson Cooper is a very nice guy. You ever met him?
He's very sweet.
He's a very, very nice person. There's no question. And isn't his real name actually Vanderbilt?
His mother was Gloria Vanderbilt.
Gloria Vanderbilt. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? No, I'm just trying to find a news that I could semi-trust and a news that I could actually not predict what they're going to say next, because CNN and Fox, you can actually predict what's next.
100%. Yeah.
You got to read your news.
Too bad. Yeah. Maybe I should read my news from Associated Press. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, and then look at your local news and just call it a day.
All right, I've done this for every person so far, but I have to change it up a little bit. I've never liked working with you, Kristyn. It's been nothing but hell from day one. It's
been another great year of not meeting you in person.
I know, we've never met in person. 12 years now. Is that what it is?
12 years. Yeah, we're going into 12. I think
we're going into 12.
I think I started with you guys in 2012.
Going into our 12th year, and we have never met in person. It's very, very odd, isn't it?
We went through a pandemic together.
Yeah, we did. We did all that stuff, shoulder to shoulder.
I got married. Yeah, like all this stuff. I wasn't married when I first started.
No, that's right. You were not married. It's very, very true. So, but no, Kristyn, it's an absolute joy working with you. I love working with you. You're a good person, and you're very ethical. That's the one thing I will say about you as a news person. You're a very ethical person, which I really, really like. Most of the people on the show, I would say actually all the people on the show are very ethical people. I mean, not
like maybe not.
Brittany's like, yeah, I don't know about that. But
it's on the day with me. You never know.
No, but I'm looking forward to another year with you, Kristyn. It's going to be great.
Yes, and thank you so much. It's been so much fun working with everyone, the whole team this year, meeting new friends and joining you guys every single morning from my closet.
From your closet and Brittany's closet and everybody's closet. It's just wonderful. And I want to thank all four of you for wearing a Christmas outfit. And I'm wearing a blue Vegas sweatshirt. That's real nice.
Nice.
Real good, Tom. Kristyn, love you, dear. And we'll talk to you next year.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Kristyn, that's another one of those situations you got so lucky finding the people that you find. I mean, you know how many pricks are in this business?
Yeah, especially Hollywood reporters. You don't know what you're going to get. So she's lovely.
I loved working with Mike Evans. I was very surprised that Mike Evans, he was the only one who didn't come over with me from the Q morning show.
Yeah, Mike Evans is. I mean, he's definitely. I think isn't into change right now at his point in his career. Is the nicest
Yeah, I
way
think he's
can
going to
say it.
retire like this year. I think he.
Yeah, and so
I thought he was going to retire last year.
So he probably did us a favor in the sense of like we'd have to change up everything anyways. And I mean that because I just don't want to be mad ever at Mike Evans. I think he has a reason.
Mike's a great guy.
Yeah, why change
yeah.
the course at that point in his career?
I understand. No question about it. I played a little golf with Mike over the years, and he is a complete nut job. You do know that, right? In real life.
I mean, on air, he's insane. So it's like, I've been always trying to call him.
Well, that's not made up.
Yeah, he's a crazy person.
The one thing I hated that he did, there's only one thing that he did that I hated. Every time he'd ask a question, he'd go like this. I have a question. Give it up, give it up, give it up, up, give it up, give it up, get it up. And they're like, oh, Jesus, would you stop doing that? Give it up. Yeah, we heard you the first 8 times. But no, I miss Mike. I haven't talked to Mike Evans in a year now. I'll have to reach out to him. He hasn't reached out to me at all.
Yeah.
So I'll have to reach out to him and because I always liked working with him. He's a very, very nice guy.
Yeah.
No question. We shall take a break. Be right back. Wrap things up right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombernardshow.com.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust, with respect that you deserve.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant. Over the years at holiday time, Bradshaw and Bryant has been able to help thousands of Minnesotans arrive home safely from the bars. This year, there's still lots of things that we can do to ensure that you stay safe on the roads, like slowing down, giving yourself enough time that you're not in a rush, no texting and driving, hands-free phone calls, and of course, no drinking and driving. Please be safe so that you get home to your loved ones. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. This year, my biggest wish is that we all remain happy, healthy, and even a little more kind to one another.
A lawyer who will fight with confidence and pride, working hard and going farther with my client on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
We will close with a magnificent story about Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Reed Markham was just a kid when he learned that some children in his town of McAllister, Oklahoma, didn't have any toys under their Christmas tree. A shy kid who was bullied in school, Reed remembered the moment very clearly, since he was no stranger to feeling left out. Even though his parents divorced when he was just 7, there were people who stepped in to make Christmas time special. So the thought that his fifth grade friend would find nothing under the tree was tough to bear. Whatever the reason, his heart or his blues, he proposed to his mother to hold a toy drive, similar in structure to a backpack drive they had organized the year before. Reed's mother, Angie Miller, posted a video on Facebook explaining that her son's intentions were very good. Asked for donations of toys or money or to buy toys for a giveaway that Reed had decided to do as a what the hell does that say? A 4-H project? Does that make sense? Why would it be a 4-H project?
4-H does everything.
Do they do everything?
Yeah, 4-H is,
Okay.
They do volunteer. They do anything that could exist. They do it.
There was great response. Lots of people went out and bought new toys to donate, or they sent money for us to buy them. That was all 7 years ago, and now as a university freshman, Reed still drives 2.5 hours home from his campus in Stillwater, Oklahoma, to participate in the annual toy drive, now in its 7th season. Reed and his mother will give away 54,000 toys for Christmas this year to people in need.
Wow. Now that is pretty cool.
I mean, that's what Christmas is all about right there. This kid, even though he was bullied and treated like crap and probably should have, most people would have disliked their classmates, he turned it around and said, no, I'll show you how it should be done.
Yeah.
His mother came together, and what a great job.
Yeah. I came across that story this morning and put it in Tom's news stories. I was looking through like CNN and all these other apps trying to find news stories, and they're all negative. And so I literally just typed in good news, and it brought me to this. It's called the Good News Network. And so it's people that literally, just find, positive stories that are uplifting.
Started by Krasinski. What's his name?
John Krasinski?
Yeah, it's John Krasinski from The Office. Yeah, he started that network in 2020 when things were a bit bleak, and it's all based around just positive stories that could be really hyper local too.
It says good news, good talks, good gifts. Get involved about us and Espanol. He invited everybody, but yeah, good news, good talks, good gifts. I love that. Getting involved with other people. But here's a kid, again, treated like crap. So instead of whining and pissing and moaning and feeling sorry for himself, he said, I'll show you how it's done.
Yeah.
And he came across as this wonderful, nice young man who actually does care about other people, which to me is what Christmas is all about, right?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
What a wonderful story to close on. See, look at that. We close on such a great story. So thanks for sending that over, Tevin. Tevin and Brittany, thank you for the great year. It's a new endeavor here, and it's going to take a couple of years to build the thing, and that's just the way it is. But I just wanted to thank you. You guys are great to work with, and I just look at this point in my career to even be able to go on the show and do a show is just a wonderful thing. There's no doubt about it. And so far, I can't name one of you as a prick like I could the other place.
I'm sure we'll show ourselves, right? I'll eventually be a monster.
Probably.
Merry Christmas, Tom. I know how much you love hanging out with your family, and you're going to get to during this break. And that just means, I know that means the world to you. So I hope you and Catherine and Andy and Ethan and Melissa and Alex and Sage and Fawn and Dan, I hope you guys all have an amazing, and Tevin. Don't forget Tevin.
And the rest.
Maybe even Tevin. Maybe.
I love you all. I love you all. I hope you guys have so much fun with your families and your onesies and all the things.
Yeah, no, I want to echo Brittany's sentiment. Just wish everybody and our listeners as well for wishing them a happy holidays. And it almost feels weird, Tom, to hear you say so many nice things to me. So I need you to call me like a sugar tit or a candy something.
Candy ass.
Yeah, right.
That's another good one. Candy ass is good.
It has been a wonderful experience being on the show, and we're definitely looking forward to next year.
We will move forward with it. Andrew, as you know, you're a member of the family, so you get nothing.
Nothing.
He just shakes his head. My kids know that I love them dearly. One thing I love about that, whenever I say that, they both look away from me when I say that.
I know.
Which I guess is, that's a good thing. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back and kick off the family show right after this. Thanks again. Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
Now we're talking.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom Snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes. Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use promo code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Oh, we're rocking out. Is that how it goes?
We certainly are.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show with
Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk.
And Andy Brant Barnard.
Is LA coming in for today?
I thought so. I haven't seen him.
I haven't seen him yet. It's 10 after 12, so I don't know.
Send him a text.
Typical Italian. Is that what you're saying?
It could be.
Oh my goodness! Last week I got accused of being racist for making, going after Paul Mercurio, and he says, "Well, I'm Italian." I said, "Well, I thought you were Jewish." He says, "Jewish, Italian. What's the difference?"
What's the difference?
So now you're going after L.A. Nick. So maybe I should say, "You're the racist. You're the racist."
Yes, do that. That's what everybody else does.
No,
So you
we
may as
can't
well do it.
that. Everybody gets a little too sensitive.
Oh God, they do.
We'll have to talk about Andy's sense of humor.
Apparently,
he's got that nice rye sense of humor.
He does. There's
now
no
that's not the rye bread that you used to be able to get at Carnegie Dell.
Oh, I love the
rye is in WRY. And
rye, dry,
it's my father had a wry sense of humor, but my father is not like you, or was not like you are now. I'd compare your sense of humor to the comedian Stephen Wright.
Yeah, that's probably pretty close.
So I always get a kick out of, some of his one-liners that just would seem to come from nowhere.
Yeah, that was my thing for a while on the show, is I wouldn't talk for half an hour and then I just, snipe out something and then never not talk for the rest of the show.
But that's changed.
Yes. I mean, for a long time, I wasn't even sure I could really be on mic, because it's like I didn't talk to people ever. I'm not a social person.
Yeah.
But, after doing
How'd you end up getting married then?
Well, we met on the internet, so there you go.
And that's still how your relationship is today?
On the internet.
Communicate via the internet.
No, we're pretty much together 24/7.
You're together an awful lot. There's no question about it. Josh and I talked about this, Andy, and you will agree. But I want to talk about it some more because I hear about it all the time. People are loving the financial advice you're giving them on the show, or your ideas. I don't know if you would constitute them, what you're talking about as advice, and in some ways people do. But people do love to listen to the show because of the way you talk about finances, because you're not very all hyped up about it, which I think is, well, at least I've heard from our listeners, they really like that.
Well, I'll jump up and down here. That's fine. I mean, it's just, as I've always said, for as long as I've been in business, I'll give you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice. And I guess I'm a little different in terms of my point of view.
I got one thing before we continue with that very conversation. So last week we had 8 people on the show. This week we have 3 people on the show. Very consistent. I think that's a piece of work right there. But yeah, we had 8 people on the show last week.
Well, when I came into your parking lot in your primetime studio, is empty, and it dawned on me.
Mm-hmm.
It's Christmas weekend.
Yep,
it is Christmas weekend.
People are cutting out early.
Well, there's no one in the parking lot.
Real nobody at all?
Yeah, there's probably 10, 15 cars out there.
Really?
Yeah.
I got a primo parking space.
Yep.
Okay, so I have a question for you guys. So if everybody took off the Friday before Christmas, they're going to take off because the January 1st is on a Monday. Are some people then going to take off the Tuesday too, just for the hell of it?
Well, I don't think so, no. I think most people are back to work the day after Christmas.
So it'll be January 2nd, Tuesday. They'll come back to work. But just before, well, I did see already that just before noon today, they were talking about 2.5 million people have already traveled for the Christmas holiday. I mean, that's a pretty big number, isn't it? For before noon?
Huge number. And this is not even revenge travel.
Revenge travel.
Yes, there's been a big thing, Andy.
It's like John Wick.
Where
he travels to kill people. That's revenge travel.
Yeah, there you go.
That must have been in John Wick 4.
One of those. One of the 4 of them.
I mean, I know I was flipping through the channels and I saw John Wick 4, and it just looks like a video game.
Yeah,
it does. It does. I have not watched it. I like the previous three. 2 was okay. 3 was better. 1 was the best of them all. But it's 3 hours and 10 minutes long, isn't it?
That one I have no idea. I watched all of 3 minutes, and I said, nope, we're going to have to go to Apple TV.
Yeah.
And watch Mark Wahlberg in The Family Plan.
There
John
you
Wick
go.
Chapter 4 is 2 hours 49 minutes.
Oh, it's only 2:50. Okay, I was off by 20 minutes.
3 is 2:11, 2 is 2:02, and 1 is 1:41.
There you go, 141.
Rapidly increasing in size.
Why have they done that? Does anybody know why they've made movies longer now? Because I do not go to. I did sit and watch Oppenheimer with Catherine, and that was 3 hours long. And about half of that could have been, they literally could have cut at least a half hour to 45 minutes out of that movie.
Like I said, longer movies make more money.
They do.
And I think it's because people need a reason to go to the movie theater, and an event movie that's going to take up your entire day. That's like, it's the reason. It would feel weird, I think, to watch something like Oppenheimer at home on your, little TV.
Mm-hmm.
You're just sitting on your couch, barely paying attention to it. That's the kind of thing that you want to be sat in a movie theater. The lights are off. You're focusing on the story. I do think that they should add intermissions, though, because
they should. Absolutely.
Who cannot go to the bathroom for 4 hours? I mean, people under the age of 30, I suppose. But
I have a lot of trouble going for an hour.
Yeah,
but that might have something to do with age more than anything else.
Yep.
But I do remember one of the longest movies that I ever saw. Tom probably saw this too, and it did have an intermission. Was Lawrence of Arabia?
Yeah, it had an intermission. Absolutely.
And I mean I was dying of thirst. Everybody was dying of thirst.
It's really
they
brought
had
you into the story.
Intermission, and people were just running right to the lobby at the Westmont Theater just to, gotta get something to drink. Gotta get something to drink.
Andy, what was the jingle they played when the intermission started?
Let's all go to the lobby.
Go on out to the lobby. Go on out to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get some 7-Up.
Yep. I'm probably the last bastion of people who are familiar with that. I think anyone younger than me probably wouldn't have known that.
Probably true.
Since I would say since theaters make more money selling concessions, that they'd want to have an intermission.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's like, something like Oppenheimer, which how long is it? Is it 3 hours?
Yep.
Let's see. I just want to make sure it's not like even more than 3. Oh, it's almost exactly 3 hours. So
yeah, it is. Yep.
You go into Oppenheimer, you've got your drink, you got your popcorn and stuff. You're done with those in what, half an hour? So intermission hits at the middle, and you got to refresh, get some more popcorn, get another drink. Because in 3 hours, you've already digested all that stuff. You're hungry again. So, right. I mean, it does make sense.
No question about it. I just, I don't know. I used to love the intermissions. 3 hours. You want to do 3 hours? Great. Well, give me a 15-minute intermission in between hour and a half and an hour and a half. I love the intermissions for the very reason Josh is talking about.
They have to bring it back.
Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh, all of this brilliant financial advice or talking about finance, people are telling me they just love it. They absolutely love your talks.
Well, that I have to say thank you. Thank you. It's fun to do. And having done radio, now podcast for decades, this was something I love to do.
No question. But last Friday,
love to share some of my ideas, and love to give a little comparison to some of what else is out there. And when I've always said I've had a different point of view, most people in terms of putting together investment portfolios for people typically will construct a portfolio around both stocks and bonds. And a typical portfolio or a balanced portfolio is 60% in stocks and 40% in bonds, with the belief that if the stock market falters, the bond bonds will typically rise in value and offset any of the losses in stocks, plus bonds where you're lending money to either the government, a municipality, or a corporation, are going to pay interest, and bonds pay interest twice a year. And they have a predetermined end point. We'll say beginning point, end point. You put in your principal, usually $1,000 in a bond on day one, and then at the end of the time, you're going to get your $1,000 back, and in the meantime, you're going to collect some interest. And if interest rates that the Federal Reserve sets, and then the market will follow with that based on supply and demand factors. If the Fed raises interest rates, we'll say, and Fed raises interest rates, yields go up, bond prices on existing bonds go down because new buyers want to get the higher yield. So bond prices can fluctuate just like stock prices can fluctuate. If you're buying individual bonds, there is, we'll say, a lack of transparency that you do not have with stocks. So bond prices and even prices on the same bond can vary from, we'll say, brokerage firm to brokerage firm, depending on how much, we'll call it juice, the brokerage firm want to put in that bond for themselves. And people buy bonds just for the yield. What kind of yield can I get? So they're not paying as much attention to price. On the other hand, buying stocks, it's very transparent. You can get stock prices, just about any place, and at the same time, that price of the stock is going to be the same. And of course, when you do buy an individual stock, whether you buy it from Charles Schwab or Merrill Lynch, there's going to be a brokerage fee involved on that as well, both to go in and come out. Now, I happen to like buying individual stocks as opposed to buying mutual funds or exchange traded funds. Most people would just as soon buy an index fund, whether an index fund or we'll say a mutual fund or an ETF that holds either stocks or bonds. I prefer to say, here's what I want to know what I own in particular. Unless, of course, you're buying Berkshire Hathaway, which is run by Warren Buffett and formerly with his partner Charlie Munger, who recently passed away. But even with that, you can get enough information to know what he owns on any given point in time. The only mutual fund that I have seen that is very transparent with both buys and sells is a very, very aggressive exchange traded fund run by ARK Investments. The CEO and founder is Kathy Wood, and her ARK Innovation Fund and several others that she runs. You can look at that and they'll say, here's what we bought today, here's what we sold today. Very interesting. I'll say very interesting when it comes to an actively managed fund. And people do track what she is doing. Now, her record is wild. I mean, she has big gains and big losses. And the volatility in her fund is, I'm not going to say off the charts, but it is very, very high. But she looks for companies that she considers innovative. Some might say new age, and she takes pretty big positions in that, and then we'll trade around those positions. So last year she lost a lot. This year she made a lot, and most people at the beginning of the year would have said, nope, she lost too much. She's done. We don't want to put money in her fund. But as the fund appreciated, all of a sudden she's a genius again.
There you go.
So that's another issue that most individual investors want to buy only when things are going up, not when things are going down. And I can understand the emotion to that, because if the stock market comes down, oh, we better get out now because it's only going to get worse. And if you turn on the TV or listen to some of your friends, because you've asked this before, your friends are ask you, oh, the economy is terrible, the stock market is terrible. And I'm looking, and I look and say, nah, I'm not so sure of that. I can say at different points in time, there are different sectors in the stock market that are outperforming. There are other sectors that are underperforming. In any given year, the stock market as a whole, the indices are going to pull back 5 to 10%, 3 to 4 times a year. There are a number of years where some situations occur where you'll have larger drops or there'll be more drops coming. So you can say the market goes from overbought to underbought, and then back and forth like that over the course of the year. This year, the market overall has been moving more in terms of macro events, that being what the Federal Reserve is doing with interest rates and trying to fight and bring down inflation. And it looks like the Fed has reasonably succeeded in doing that. Today, a Fed inflation gauge, the personal consumption expenditures came in at 3.2%, which was a little better than expected. So they can say the Fed can say, well, what we've been doing in terms of raising short-term interest rates and quantitative tightening, selling bonds in our portfolio, has been working. Fed, however, has not really moved on interest rates for almost 7 months. So they've been on a pause, but they have been jawboning that should conditions change or data changes, they feel obligated to raise interest rates. So that really hasn't, so their view has not changed. Although in the last meeting, Fed Chairman Powell indicated that the Fed could cut up to 3 times next year.
Right.
I'll say the view from my pew, I just threw that out. The view from my pew, only because you might be going to church soon. So
nice Catholic boys.
There, we just throw that in. The view from my pew is the Fed may only cut once between now and the election. After the election, things might change. Many prognosticators, market strategists think that the Fed is going to cut the 3 times and maybe more to bring down interest rates. And if we bring down interest rates, mind that's going to push up bond prices. But I don't. I think the Fed is going to be very, very cautious in making any changes unless they hit that 2% inflation target is hit, or the economy slows down appreciably. And I do not foresee the economy slowing down appreciably right now. So that kind of takes off the Fed cutting interest rates with that. And inflation, might come down a little bit more. But again, a lot depends on at least in my estimation, a lot depends on the price of energy. And the price of energy, right now, oil has moved up in the last week from $69 a barrel to $74 a barrel. So that's a big jump. A lot of that has to do with what is going on in the Red Sea.
Oh, sure.
So fear of moving oil from place to place. But in terms of other forms, we'll say, of natural gas prices have crept up a little bit because we're coming into a heating season. But from what I've been reading, natural gas, prices are not necessarily going to go up. Europe is full up with liquid natural gas. So, and there's plenty available here in the United States. So I think energy prices, other than oil, oil could come back down again, and that would change the inflation picture. House prices, which is another variable, or we'll call it mortgage equivalent rents. They seem to have leveled off, and in the last couple of weeks, you've seen mortgage rates come from, at least on the 30-year mortgage, I've seen rates go from a little over 8% to now at 6.6%. And if interest rates, stay down, you could see mortgage rates coming down into the 5s.
Oh, man, that'd help.
Now, if interest rates come down into the 5s, there's still a big demand for housing. Home builders and home building stocks this year have been on fire despite interest rates moving up, just because of demand. So you could see, people moving again, even with prices and house prices stabilizing. So interest rates come down and people start moving from the house they have to either a larger house or a different house. So that becomes a boost to the economy, because each time you're going to move, what are you going to need? You're going to need a new refrigerator. You'll need a new washer and a dryer.
Yeah.
Maybe I should buy a new TV. Are you really going to, when you move, are you really going to take down all your wiring from the TV that you've wired up in your old house? Well, that's going to be a headache. So maybe you include that to the new buyer of your old house, and you go out and you buy a new TV. Geez, I'm saying all those things that could benefit Best Buy or favorite Apple, favorite Amazon. So those are certain things that will feed into the economy. Oh, you get a new house, you're going to have to paint the walls. You're going to need new furniture or different furniture. So there's a lot of new things that people will want, and that helps the economy. And at the same time, you've got unemployment, which is still below 4%, which I'll say when I was in college decades ago, full employment was considered anything. Well, let's see, full employment would be if you had 5% unemployment. Now we've got under 4% unemployment. Now on the other side, I look at the jobs participation rate is only, I think it's 62.5%. So there are a lot of people that could be working that aren't. So there's still, and I think there are plenty of jobs available.
What do we do about that, Josh? People that just will not work or do not want to work. What do we do about that?
Well, there are, for people, one, I'd say I really don't know, because I really wish I had an answer to that.
Yeah.
But as long as you've got a lot of we'll call it fail-safe programs that are out there, that discourages people from going out and pursuing jobs. By the same token, you have a lot of people who have accumulated wealth over a period of time, say, you know what, we've got enough. Life is short. We're going to drop out of the jobs market and or retire.
Yeah, I can see that.
And now the other thing I'm not sure of, Tom, is what percentage of those people that maybe are not considered participating in the jobs market or are actually gig workers. That might take a longer term or short term employment gig, so they're self-employed. So that I do not know.
Yeah,
and there that could be a big chunk of people who are not necessarily sitting at home, but they're working a series of, I got to say, a series of jobs, or have a part-time assignment that goes into another part-time assignment, et cetera, et cetera. And they make a pretty good living doing that.
I can see that. Now, last year, wasn't the top rate last year, the top lending rate last year on, a bank loan, wasn't it about 9.5%? Something like that.
During the course of 2023?
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd probably be close to that.
Yeah, about 9.5.
And that's come down.
And where's that now? But somebody told me it's like 7.25, something like that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So will that continue to drop as we go into the next
interest
year?
rates continue to drop, those things will drop. And if you can get cheaper money, or we'll say cheaper money available, also adds to business and economic expansion.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why I asked you the point. If that came down from 9.5 to 7.25, I mean, can it get down the 5.5 to 6 range?
Sure. I mean, that'll take a period of time.
Yeah.
That could happen.
But I mean, that's got to be really, really good for the economy and people going out and investing in businesses and building new things. And that's got to be.
That's always been my point. And it's my point with the Federal Reserve. It's been my point with, politicians. Why are you doing anything that discourages people or businesses from expanding and or creating new businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to put up roadblocks, along the way? I mean, yes, you need some safety nets. Yes, there needs to be some rules of the road, but why put up significant barriers to that?
Yeah, I mean
that's just my own opinion here.
So they are talking about 3 rate cuts next year. Do you still see that happening? I know you already.
I do not see that happening.
You don't?
Given the way the economy is right now, I think yes, inflation is going to come down, and to me depends on the price of energy. I can't say it's inflation is going to come down because wages are coming down. Wages are not necessarily coming down. Wages are probably going to stay where they are or go up. Just take a look at some of the union contracts that have been signed recently. So it doesn't matter whether it's been auto workers or Starbucks workers, or government workers are always, to me, some part of the government seems to be always on strike for higher wages.
Mm-hmm.
The airlines, all the pilots unions have just now completed, some wage negotiations, and they're getting significant bumps in pay. So I don't see wages necessarily coming down. So that's a fact or a component in inflation. The other big component, as I said, is housing. So housing prices leveling off, and then the other component, which goes into everything, is the price of energy.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
So now somebody says, "Well, geez, Josh, if you're looking at energy prices, what about investing in oil and gas?" Because there's a huge, if the economy gets back up, there'll be a demand for more energy, or wouldn't that benefit oil and gas companies? And I said, well, that was true in 2022. It was not true in 2023, and it's a difficult area to invest in, and it becomes, to me, a more speculative area. I know my son likes to invest in oil, we'll call it oil service companies. So companies that provide equipment or drilling rigs to the energy and production companies. So he likes companies like Tidewater or Valero as examples. And again, if I start talking about stocks, just a quick reminder: past performance is no guarantee of future results.
Mm-hmm.
Markets are always changing. You can lose money in investing in stocks as well as investing in bonds. Any of these companies may or may not be suitable for you. So please consult an advisor before you make any investment decisions. So that's a little, have to have that little caveat there and disclaimer.
Yeah, no question. Do most people have a guy, or do most people not have a guy?
I'd say more people do not have a guy like me than do. But I've always said, find somebody that if you're going to work with somebody that's their business, and that they can concentrate on helping you to build wealth through investing, and give you the time to develop your own business. So I don't want to do my own plumbing. I don't want to do my own.
Yes.
So
Well,
there are people that are much better at that than I am. So I hire out. Now somebody could say, geez, Josh, you're a halfway decent cook, but you are always going out to eat. Correct.
No,
I
it's
like to
true.
go out to eat. I'll pay for the privilege to do that.
Andy, I have a question for you, because you're really good at that kind of stuff, working on things in the house and all that stuff. You didn't get that from me. I can guarantee that. Where'd that come from?
When I was living on my own, things would break, and I was like, my toilet broke, and it's like, this is my one toilet. So either I fix it today, or I don't have a toilet until a plumber can come, and that could be 3 days from now. So
yeah,
I better learn.
See, it was kind of weird, because I have never been any good at, like, getting me to install a new toilet plunger. I would never trust myself to do that. But I suppose you learn as you go, huh?
Yeah. Necessity is the mother of invention, after all.
Josh, I can't see you digging through the toilet tank to put a new bulb in there.
No. I've done that.
No.
I don't want to do that again. I remember just a quick story. My oldest son loved to build things, and it didn't matter. He started with Legos, and then he would graduate, we'll say, to potato launchers, and then he grabbed all my tools. They start disappearing, and then he would go to construction sites, and in those big dumpsters that are out there, he'd pull out wood, and he'd build things. And he was very good at doing that. And then one day he said, "Oh, I think, Dad, I don't like something in our bathroom. I think I'm going to go work on that." Okay, go right ahead. It's, and my wife, "Why are you letting him do that?" Well, he wants to do it, and he wants to remodel a bathroom.
It's a good skill to have.
So let him go ahead. Well, what happens if it doesn't work or you break something? Fine, you pick up the phone, you call Paul the plumber, you call Jimmy the electrician.
Right.
Come over, and they'll take care of it. What's going to? He's not going to blow anything up. Well, he did make
whoops.
He did make one whoopsie.
Whoops.
He made a mess of one of the electric sockets, where there was something with the ground wire, and I had to replace a TV, 3 clock radios.
Oh,
it was a minor inconvenience.
It sounds like he crossed the hot with the ground.
Yeah, he was.
You don't want to.
He was not that on that one. He was not paying attention to his father. I said, make sure you do not do this. And then it was, you hear the big sizzle.
Yep.
Whoops.
But in any case, my point is, get a guy to help you out. Somebody who's got a little bit of expertise and has got the time, the temperament, and the training to do these things, and we'll say the experience.
That's a good plan.
And I have a lot of experience in both up and down markets, and you remember the down markets more than the than the up markets.
I bet you that's true. Now, these 3 rate cuts they're talking about, I hear people on national television saying this is a wonderful thing, 3 rate cuts, that'd be wonderful. And there are other people saying, oh my God, that'd not be good. If they do 3 rate cuts, that's not going to work. How can they have such desperate or disparate opinions?
That's why that's one, without being I'll be a little facetious. That's what makes the market. Nobody had that is what makes the market. But everybody has people in my business and elsewhere might see things a little differently. As I said, I do not. I think that if the Fed cuts once, I think that would be a lot. If the Fed cuts 3 times, man, you've got to have inflation, down at 2%. And that would be, if inflation comes down to 2%, the Fed cuts 3 times, that would be a wonderful thing. That would be a boost to the stock market, be a boost to the bond market. If, on the other hand, the Fed starts cutting because the economy is weak, and we move more into, the economy is weak, and we start going from, or you start seeing the GDP, the gross domestic product number, going from positive to negative, and the Fed is now cutting rates, that's a negative, and there you would see the stock market go down and probably the bond market go up, bond prices go up and yields come down, just on that scenario. And I will say there are a number of strategists who last year, or the beginning of, I'll say the end of 2022, said that in 2023 we're going to have a recession, sell stocks, buy bonds, because the Fed would be starting to cut rates into 2023, just because of that scenario. Those same people who were wrong in 2023 are coming out with the same advice. They see the economy slowing down. They see the stock market dropping anywhere from 8 to 20%, and they see the bond market as the place to be. I'm of the opinion that, one, the Fed may only cut interest rates once, just because, and just to show the market that they're still in control. 2, I think the economy may not slow down, but it may not speed up either. I am of the opinion that next year you could see again 3 to 4, 5 to 10% pullbacks for, it could be companies when they start reporting earnings in the middle of January, as we start the next earnings season. Their earnings are good, but their revenues are not as good, and their guidance into the next quarter starts to become more conservative. So that could cause a pullback. The government could say, you know what, we've got some issues still with the budget, and we're not going to pass a continuing resolution again. So that could cause a pullback. You could have, something happen militarily in a place that has not been thought of. That could bring a short-term pullback. So, and there could be some other things that not even thinking about. And then we also have this heavy duty start to the election season. And that is going to be I'm not going to say it's going to be a boost to the economy, but it's going to be a boost to advertising.
Oh God, yes. It's going to be huge.
That's going to. So now, if I start looking at who is going to benefit from all the advertising that's going to be going on next year, well, I could look at two of the companies and possibly three that are in the Magnificent Seven. Magnificent Seven companies that really led the S&P this year. The S&P, I think, is up as we speak about 21% for the year. In 2022, the S&P was down 19%, so we've had a little reversal there. The bond market will probably end up being down 1% or maybe flat for the year. That's much better than where the bond market finished in 2022, when the long-term bond index was down a third, which was as much as NASDAQ was down in 2022. NASDAQ is up this year over 40%. The bulk of that move comes on the back of Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, NVIDIA, Tesla, and who else did I leave out? Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and Tesla. There we go. That's the seven. But of those seven, now I start looking at who does a lot of advertising. Meta or Facebook. You have Google, does a lot of advertising. Amazon's advertising business has moved up, but most of that is product related. Although when it comes to Amazon, they could get a boost, on a deal that they should come through. They're working on a deal with Diamond Sports Network, and that'd be a big boost for all the regional sports networks, and could provide some more dollars to the local franchises that show up on Bally Sports. But Amazon could be a beneficiary also of that advertising. Then you could look to Disney and Comcast are also beneficiaries of all the advertising coming into the election season. So I do like, stocks within that Magnificent Seven. I'm a big holder. My clients are big holders of Apple and Amazon. And I think that the two of them coming into 2024, should do very well. That said, I'm of the opinion that also that at the end of 2024, if the S&P index is up 10%, I think that'd be a pretty good year overall.
It does sound like a no question. I have a question for you, because I know we only got about 1 minute left here, but how does it seems to me, and I'm certainly an outsider looking in, no question, but it seems to me at least some people are trying to look for a solution in the Middle East, that this can't continue on, bringing in China and Russia and Iran and the United States. And do you see any chance that they might come to some sort of an agreement in the Middle East?
Whew.
Tough call, I know.
You're saying you got a minute to answer this question. Has there ever been a time when the Middle East has not been a hotbed, and there have been all kinds of proposals to end conflict in the Middle East? And have any of those ever come to fruition?
Nope.
Okay.
There's my answer. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Josh, it's been great working with you this year. Because you and I didn't even know each other until about midsummer, somewhere in there.
It was midsummer.
It was indeed.
And I've told you the first time that I met you, which was decades ago.
Yep.
When I saw you skipping down the hall at Midway Airport in Chicago, where I guess you were there to do some voiceover work.
Yeah, some voiceover work. Used to fly in and out of there all the time. But Josh, it's been great working with you. I hope we work together for many, many more years.
We're going to work together.
Okay, never mind. We're going to work
2024. There is no hope here. We do these things.
It's a good thing.
You might hope to spend more time with Catherine.
There you
go.
Right,
but with me, I will be here. If not in the studio, then on the phone.
Yeah, you travel. It'll happen. But
working with you.
I love the fact that we're picking up most of your friends and your family as listeners. I think that's a wonderful thing.
Oh, they love it.
That's what I hear.
They love it. I think my mother finds you funny.
Oh my God!
No idea why, but
why? Who knows? Who knows why? It's true. But
the next time I'm down in Florida, I'll bring my my mother along to meet you. Or maybe I should invite you to her golf course.
Ooh.
And I'll watch the two of you play, and you'll get very frustrated. Geez, that lady just hits it straight down the middle.
I hate that about older people.
I just do not understand.
I don't understand. Well, Josh, thank you for a great 6 months and another year next year. Looking forward to it. Andy, we will talk to you plenty of times, but I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
And before we go, LA Nick said he couldn't be here because of family emergency, but he says Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Nick.
Tom, Andy, a Merry Christmas to both of you. And we will see you again soon.
Yeah.
See you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Reminds me of this one was before. Every time I get to see it, reminds me how you talking.